it was forced out of his hand, and then Nick Bosa picked up the ball, and that's practically the game. And so we were able to win in Seattle, and that was a hard fought win. But again, we have a very easy schedule. So I would say when we compare our schedule to everybody else, I would say the 49ers, if we don't have the easiest schedule, we have one of the easiest. And so it feels good to be able to win game one, right? And so when we look at our division too, I mean, you still have the Cardinals and you still have the Rams. Senor, JT is on the line. Joe Malik, the Southern Cowboys. They gave it a good shot, but the Philadelphia Eagles ended up winning. I think that was the very first game of the season, right? So your Southern Cowboys, they did their best. I was impressed.
Yeah,
I was more impressed. I didn't think it was going to be that close, but it was.
I want to talk about the weekend.
Yes, please. How was your weekend?
Saturday, I went to the Veteran Cemetery.
Yes.
I bushcraft the entrance.
Wow. Really?
Sunday,
in PT?
I went up to the tapu. And I bushcraft side of the tapu. Listen, This is what they need to do in that cemetery. The halfway DOC.
Wait, which veteran? Which veterans? Which veteran cemetery? Man. The PT one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you were there. Okay, got it.
Yeah, and the National Guard or the Guam Guard can operate a backhoe and riding more. So I was going to go this morning, but it's going to rain. So I decided not to. Probably tomorrow morning, I'm finish the side of the tapu.
Right.
The other side.
Yeah.
And I can finish that, then I'll be okay. But this is what they need to do.
Okay.
The halfway, they make a DOC to do some of the bush cutting and also the National Guard to operate the backhoe and also the riding mower.
The National Guard.
I can only do a month because it's raining.
Right.
And I can only do the entrance.
Right.
And the tapu.
Oh yeah, because the rest, I understand that completely. I mean, you shouldn't even need to do any of that, but
if tomorrow morning, if it doesn't rain, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the other side of the tapu.
Does Gova know that you're volunteering your time? Do they know that you were there over the weekend?
Donnie last week, Donnie Tulay.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna go and volunteer and bushcut some of the area.
Did anybody notice you?
That's what I did this weekend.
Did anybody notice you? Did any of the official employees notice that you were there?
There's some people showed up, I guess, to visit their
loved ones.
At the cemetery, but there's an official, veterans official that went by.
Uh-huh.
But I was too busy trying to finish up the bush cutting.
And they didn't stop to say hello?
I was telling Mark, they didn't even stop by to
give you water.
Give me water.
Hi, Dave.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
I made a promise to the vet talk, so I did some of it, and I'm trying. If it don't rain tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the tapu. The grass there, man, it's nice.
Yeah.
But we just have to. Some people have to volunteer and
maintain
and do some bush cutting because the grass are getting low because of the rain.
Right. Right.
I might be buried there. I don't know, but at least I kept my promise from last week.
Right. Well, I would hope though. I hope that they recognize your efforts, right? I can't imagine them not allowing you to continue. I mean, you're doing them a service, but also if the officials are listening too, and Director St. Augustine, I hope that he is aware that you are doing that. So that way everybody's on the same page and understands that you're doing this on a volunteer basis. And so because what I don't want to happen is when they say, "Hey, that individual that's supposed to be cutting our grass hasn't been around." Like, he's not supposed to be. He's volunteering his time. He's doing it out of the kindness of his heart. And so maybe even if they're lacking their manpower, gas is not cheap. Your equipment is not cheap. Gas to get there. I mean, you're coming from Inalahan. That's not just down the road. That's clear on the other side of the island. I imagine you're taking Cross Island to get there?
Cross Island and then Route 1. Polaris Point is still under project. The road is still under
So you're taking 4 to 1 to get there? You're not taking Cross Island?
Yes, Cross Island.
Okay, so you're taking 4. You're taking 4, and then you're crossing. Then you're and then you're coming up Naval Base and then heading north on 1.
Oh, this is Saturday.
Yeah.
I believe it's Saturday when I had a medical appointment.
Right. So you were
after my medical appointment, I said, I got home and tends to my Bahokia, and I took off to the cemetery.
Wait a minute. So you made 2 trips into town?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, no.
Was it okay?
Well, yeah, I know, because you're retired and whatnot, but
NASA, I'm not up. I don't need to worry about NASA.
Because they're maintaining it now.
I'm moving my concentration up to the cemetery.
Good for you. Good for you. I hope they recognize your efforts, as they should.
Maybe it's up to them because.
Well, it's not. It's not getting cut on its own. I mean, you're doing it.
Okay. They need to do some cutting grass on that place because that place is huge. I thought it's only the front.
Oh no!
But when I drove into the Tapu, my God, that's uphill.
Yeah, you go up the hill.
The Tapu.
Yep. Behind the chapel, you go up to the left.
Up the hill.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and try my best. If it don't rain tomorrow morning, because the reason why I didn't go today because I know it's gonna be heavy traffic.
Right.
But on a weekend, a little bit traffic. But on the weekdays, I know it's heavy traffic. People going into railway stations. And
what time did you get there on Saturday? What time do you go? What time do you go on Saturday?
In the morning.
Okay. Like what? At what time?
9 o'clock.
9 a.m.? Wow, it's hot.
Yeah, a.m.
9, it's already hot, right?
Yeah. I got my, I'm all prepared. I got my folding chair.
Yeah.
My drinks on my pack. And I turned on my aircon, my pickup truck. Yeah, but it's okay.
Right. Now it's
Maybe
good.
somebody can also volunteer to do the front side of the cemetery.
I mean,
the entrance to the cemetery, that's what I did Saturday, and now the Tapu, I have to go over and finish the other side of the Tapu.
What I don't
before
want
the grass
is
cover the whole Tapu.
So, I don't know if you want to call them up, but I have a phone number for you because they should know. Well, the worst case scenario is somebody harasses you. Say, who are you? It's like even though you're volunteering your time, but it's probably best that they know for sure that you are out there, or at least come and say hello to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll give
That's
them a call
okay.
and I'll just let them know. It's like, hey, my very good friend, Joe Maulik, he volunteers. He went over there and he cut some grass, and so maybe they want to get a hold of you or meet you there and thank you, and then just so everybody's on the same page. I'll probably give
Tomorrow
them a call.
morning, if it don't rain, tomorrow morning
See.
I'm thinking of finishing the tapu
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna be there around like what, 9 again?
about 9.
About
Yeah.
9. I don't even know what time the what are the hours of operation? They close at 5,
No,
I know.
the gate is when I
Always
got
open?
there. The front gate is open.
It's always open.
Yeah.
I know.
So
I thought they
I
have.
went in and
I
I
thought
did
they
the
open and
front first,
close
and
that
then
gate.
I moved into the tapu. And as you face the tapu,
Uh huh.
the door
Yeah.
is on the left side. Now I have to do the right side of the tapu.
I see. Okay, senor. Well, thank you so much. I mean, again, it's not like you have to. You don't need to do that. I understand why you are. Also, especially that the place that you're used to volunteering, they have a team already that have that's over at the NASA property that's doing it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I know that you need to get your
The,
exercise in too.
but that's they got the workers to
But
cover that.
yeah.
So
What about
I'm
your
gonna
own
move
ranch
my
though?
concentration up to the cemetery, the veteran cemetery.
How many times do you cut the grass at your ranch? Like twice a week? Once a week? Every other week?
Maybe twice.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
And so you still have so
I,
you cutting your grass at the ranch twice a week, and then what about your around your house?
even
Twice a week?
it's funny because Richard and Mark came over when they come and visit, and they saw the back of the house is all cut off, the
Yeah.
grass
Yeah.
and the tangan.
Yeah.
They know that what I'm doing
Yeah.
here at the house and also the ranch.
So practically every day you're cutting grass. Every day you're outside cutting grass, whether it's at your
Every
house
day, every
or
day.
at the ranch. So you're just trying to find places to cut grass. And
Yeah.
now that the NASA
Yeah.
has a more, what do you call it, consistent team
Workers.
there,
Yeah.
workers cutting. You've moved on. You're like, all right, well, it looks like I'll be over at the veteran cemetery volunteering my time by the chapel and up on the hill too, because
Yeah.
you see that there is a need for it. Probably because you've been listening to Vet Talk and you've been hearing that they say that not enough is being done on the
Right. Yeah.
groundskeeping. Yeah.
Yeah. They need they need to cut the grass over the cemetery.
Right.
So
They have a
I
shortage. They don't have as many staff on the payroll. I know that, but again, see, I mean, anytime anybody's doing any kind of volunteer work, right? It just makes sense for them to know and be on. And thank you for your efforts,
yeah.
because I know
That would be
they
nice
do that.
if if because I was thinking the VA office they can concentrate on the processing the veterans
Uh huh.
and also the funeral service.
Ah, and so the problem is we don't have enough Joe Mauliks though, and so that's the problem is. I don't want them to
Yeah.
keep depending on you, and then when it doesn't get done, they're like, "Hey, where's Joe Maulik? Where's everybody else?" It's
Yeah.
like, well, you can't you got to thank them for their efforts, but also
See?
understanding they're volunteers, and so it can't just fall on you. It can't be your responsibility anymore. It's you're providing extra. I would say extra hands, at
Yeah.
your available time frame.
On my own time.
Right, exactly. Exactly, because it's your gas that you're using in your own truck to get there, and then it's your own gas and equipment that you're using to cut the grass. And so
Yeah.
you're a very kind individual because Not everybody has. Not everybody has the opportunity to do, but even the ones that might are not thinking the same, as you
Yeah.
are. And I don't. I I think that you're a special person to want to spend your time to be there, and it needs to be recognized. They need to know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, senor. Well,
But,
thank you so much.
we're calling down today
Okay,
on Wednesday,
Wednesday,
right?
yeah.
Wednesday morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't get a hold of somebody though, at least to let them know that you. So you're saying that you are probably gonna be there tomorrow, more than likely.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay.
It depends if it don't rain, then for sure I'm gonna take off and finish the other side of the Tapo.
Okay, senor.
Okay?
Okay. Thanks for calling. All right.
Good.
Adios. All right. Let me see if I can get a hold of somebody and just let them know. 2:29 in the afternoon. We'll take the break. Wave 105.
All right, half a day, Guam again. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wave 105.1 FM. Big shout outs to our friends bringing you the show. GTA, we start with you. Our friends at Micropack. Shout outs to Wise Owl. We have Sentinel Security Solutions, Code School of Guam, Chili's, Sherwin-Williams, and Subway. All bringing you the Brightside here on Wave 105.1 FM. We'll be right back.
Think you got what it takes to win? Tune in every Friday on Wave 105 FM with Patty Arroyo for the Hilton Trivia Challenge. Test your knowledge and you can score dinner for two at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa. It's brought to you by the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa only on Wave 105 FM.
Howdy Guam. Yep, it's me, the Guam Guy, and you can catch episodes of my podcast, The Guam Guy Show, not only on YouTube and Spotify, but every Friday at 11 a.m. on Wave 105 FM.
Craving bold flavors and unbeatable value? Introducing Chili's Double Down Feast. Choose from chef-crafted protein pairings like zesty margarita chicken with ancho salmon, or go premium with the classic sirloin and half rack of ribs. All served with loaded mashed potatoes, starting at just $24.99. It's a feast made to satisfy. With more pairings to try, one visit won't be enough. Only at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Half a day at Wave 105 FM. We want to talk. We want to talk about the things that are important to our island and our community, and we want to talk with you. If you want to join the conversation, if you want to chime in, we welcome it. We welcome all points of view, all thoughts, all perspectives. Call or WhatsApp us at 671-922-1051. If that line is busy, then call us at 922-1052. This is Talk for Everyone. Thanks for listening to Wave 105 FM, the Talk of Guam.
We're excited to announce that we're hiring for a variety of positions with some of Guam's most recognized and respected brands, including Coca-Cola, Foremost, Chili's, Glimpses of Guam, Subway, Good to Go, and Cinnabon. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take the next step in your career, there's something here for everyone. Explore current opportunities and apply today at applynowguam.com. Your next great opportunity is just a click away.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome back. The Bright Side here on Wave 105. My name is Pauly Suba. Here's our number, 671-922-1051 or 1052. We're online, thewave105.com, and the YouTube channel, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. Over the weekend, I watched this show on Netflix. It's a documentary, right? Or how does the person say it? Documentary? It was Unknown Number, the high school catfish. Did you watch it, Reese?
No, not the high school cat.
So I thought it was fake. I thought it was like a spoof document.
Like a movie documentary, like a movie about someone making a documentary
something
about
like
something
that, or just a parody.
Oh.
Because there was this other see, now I can't even say documentary because I'm in my head because of somebody in the documentary said documentary, and now it's like it's stuck. Now I have to say documentary the whole time. But I don't know if you remember this one Netflix documentary where it was at high school where people were drawing genitalia, a male genitalia, and it was actually I thought it was real, and it turned out to be fake.
Oh,
yeah, it's all actors and everything. So.
I think I've heard of it. Like I've seen about it. Okay, so you thought it was like that?
So I thought it was a spoof, but then it was my sister-in-law said, "No, you got to watch this. This is and it's real."
Okay.
So it's in a small town, in the Midwest, I think.
Okay.
Oh, man, I don't want to give it away because it's a really good. So how they do it is they know who is the catfish, the person that's harassing these high school students.
Okay.
But they don't tell you until like
the end.
I guess maybe Act 3 or Act 4. You know. So I kind of don't want to give it away because I would say it's a really good documentary. Like it was, because I don't know if you've ever gotten these unknown messages, unknown number.
Yeah.
I usually get it. They're trying to make me apply for a job.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I have gotten those. Yeah, for sure.
But they're telling me who they are, right? And I'm not buying it, right? I block them. Mm-hmm. But this person isn't telling this 14-year-old who they are, and basically harassing a 14-year-old. So you could Google it, right? But I would say watch it.
Okay.
And then maybe tomorrow I'll spoil it. But it's in a small town, and I can relate because I went to school in a small town in Oregon. There's not much to do. And so everybody knows everybody's business. Yeah. Even the parents know the business of the kids.
Yeah.
And so so it's all about football and the sports, and the parents are usually well invested in high school sports, right? Because that is what that's what drives even the economy a lot of times, right? Is these football games, basketball games, baseball games, right? And so a lot of times, who are the coaches? The parents are the coaches. So they know these kids, and they know the drama of these kids. And there was I think these two were middle school sweethearts. Mm-hmm. And then as they're getting into high school, the girl got a message saying, he doesn't even like you. He likes me. You are not going to just know that he is going to be with me at this Halloween party, getting with me and cheating on you. To like a 14-year-old girl.
Wow.
And so now she's messaging the boyfriend saying, "What's this about?" And he's like, "I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm not even going to go now." So he doesn't even go to the Halloween party. Okay. And then they push it off. It's not nothing. This unknown number is not coming around anymore until like maybe months later. And it gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
To basically the FBI gets involved because the amount of unknown messages that are going to not just her anymore, but to the boy and to friends. And this whole town now is trying to figure out who is the culprit.
The whole
town is trying to figure out who is
and
this
it's one
prank
of them.
caller.
Or
it could,
yeah. It could be.
Yeah.
It could be.
But I was shocked, and it's been a while since I was shocked by one of these documentaries.
Really?
Yes.
There we go.
I think the last time I was shocked by like Tiger King. Tiger King was pretty shocking.
Oh my gosh, Tiger King was a different level. It was just like, who could allow someone to be like this?
Yes. Yeah. Tiger King was intense, and so I haven't seen a documentary
Not the documentary.
Since Tiger King. And the
Wow.
thing, I think the whole reason why I was invested in Tiger King was because this was during the pandemic. There wasn't much to do during the pandemic, so
No one was recording new things.
So I was waiting for the next episode. The thing about this unknown number high school catfish is it's only one. It's about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And so
good.
it's a good watch. It's an easy watch, and you're done.
I like that because usually
Yeah.
the documentaries
Yeah,
are
They're-
like 2 hours
and 4 episodes
yes,
or 6
and each
episodes.
hour is 2 hours, and you're like,
yeah,
can't consume all of that today.
right.
I like that. Okay, so just an hour and it's one episode. Perfect.
And it's good.
I will watch it. Okay.
It is good. I was like, what is this? You know, another one of these trash things on Netflix that,
Yeah.
you know, the trailer's good, and then when you watch, you're just like, this is trash. But it was good from beginning to end. I was invested. I was trying to figure it out too.
Wow.
I was trying to find who could this be.
The suspect.
Yes.
Wow.
I think to make a murder. What is that other one? Even it was before Tiger King.
How to catch
How
a
to-
murder or something like that? Like
I think
how to
it's-
get away with murder? No.
I forgot. It's about this one kid. It's also based on a true story about this one kid that was forced to confess for a murder, and then apparently his IQ is just low, and he really just wanted to go home. So he after hours of being interrogated, he's like, "All right, I did it. Me and my uncle," and then him and his uncle were in jail because of it. I forgot the name of that. now.
Wow.
But that one was pretty intense too. And that was episode after episode also, right?
Okay.
So by the time it won to be honest with you, I didn't even watch season 2 of it because it was just a lot, right? And I had moved on.
Yeah.
But I was invested in the first season.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if dude's in jail still or not. Maybe in
Wow.
season 2 he was found not guilty. I don't know. I never
hate
went
when it's
back
like
to
that.
it.
I hate that because I've watched some documentaries in the same kind of context where it's like you go through the episodes and finally they're like, they got him.
Yeah.
But then he got loose because they couldn't pin it on him. I was like, what do you mean?
Right.
We had all the evidence. You know, and that always ticks me off. So
Yeah.
that's what turns me off a little bit about some of those documentaries. Is like, it just makes me mad because I guess because we live in such a convenient world, I'm already waiting for them. I'm like, just tell me already. We know it's him. Why isn't he arrested yet? They're like letting you
Right.
wait it all out. But
Yeah, this one,
Wow.
this unknown number was actually better than this documentary of the girl that was with in a relationship, and they went to like a national park, and he went home and left her. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Went all the way home to I think Florida, and then the parents were like, "Hey, so where's our daughter?" And he's not even answering their calls or whatnot, to the point where the parents have to talk to the other set of parents and say, "We have a lawyer. We don't know where your daughter's at." Yeah.
Oh no.
That's another documentary that I watched too, but the unknown number was way better.
Okay.
It was just, and obviously they're both true stories and whatnot, right? But just the way that they put this together, I think because I wasn't expecting it to be that good. I think that is the reason why. This unknown number, the high school catfish documentary, I wasn't expecting much out of it. And I was actually like, I wasn't even looking at my phone the entire time. I was not playing on any of my
Little
apps.
games. Yeah. That's how you know it's good.
Right?
Because you're not like, your mind's not somewhere else. It's like focus. For
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. So I mean, if you got time to watch it, it's only about an hour and a half. It's a good watch, and I think the reason why a lot of us can relate, who has gotten prank called before. You see unknown messages come through, the drama back goes in high school, and people don't realize that cyberbullying is real, especially with mental health. And it got to the point where the person that was texting said, you should unalive yourself. And so that's tough when you are you are saying those kinds of messages to a teenager. And so that's when the FBI definitely got involved. I would say the FBI got involved because they were shocked with the amount of text messages that were coming through in one day. And then the obscene messages also got them to, okay, now you're threatening people's lives.
Wow.
Yeah. It's intense. And so I looked it up because as soon as I was done watching it, I was like, is this real? And then sure enough, I'm like, I'm not paying enough attention because this should have been on my like algorithm when this came out. But I think it was years ago when this actually happened, and then they finally put the documentary together. Let me see here. It got really good reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's kind of like where I always go to Rotten Tomatoes when I check something.
Yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, a lot of people go there and
Right?
actually refer to.
It's never let
Rotten
me down.
Tomatoes. Yeah, for sure.
Not on the critic side, on the
Just
user
the
side.
user side.
When I look to see did the popcorn spill? If it did, then I'm down for it.
I see.
If it's got a green tomato, then I'm like it's so every now and then I'll still watch something, but for the most part I look at Rotten Tomatoes to double check. But even more though is when I have family members that I trust.
Yeah.
Lately, my oldest son, has been letting me down though.
Oh,
Yeah.
sir.
Because he analyzes movies.
Oh.
He analyzes them.
I get
Like,
that.
and I love having conversations.
Yeah,
It's like,
I love that.
it's like our bonding time.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So when he's like, hey, watch this movie, and I'll watch it because I know once I'm done watching the movie,
guys
we're
will
going to
talk
talk about it. He told me to watch Friendship. And it's a A24 movie.
Oh,
These
man.
A24 studio,
Yeah.
they have some really intriguing movies.
It's very mind-boggling,
Yes.
very, like, you question a lot of things
Yes.
after the movie.
Yes.
Like, there's more questions than you had in the beginning.
Right.
But it's kind of weird because some people don't like movies like that. But with A24 films, they do kind of a good job. Like, they make you want more, but you're not mad. You're
Right.
just like, like, most people get angry, and I do too. But I'm like, okay, this was good, but what now?
Lately, Warfare was an A24. That was a good movie.
Lately, Warfare?
Warfare is the name of the movie.
Okay. Oh, Warfare.
Yeah. But this Friendship movie, I'm so glad that I waited for it to come out because we were going to go watch this movie in the theater with my son, who watched it 3 times, I think, in the theater.
Dang.
And so, of course, when it finally came out, I mean, he messaged me and said, hey, Dad, the movie's out on HBO Max. So I'm like,
Okay.
all right, I'll watch it. It was the weirdest thing. Like, it's one of those things where it doesn't have to be a movie. It
Okay.
could just be a story about how the neighbor is a weirdo.
Yeah.
And anytime he knocks on the door, I'm not home. Like, that's end of movie. But they made a whole movie out of a weirdo that I don't want to hang out with.
No.
And my son is like analyzing the whole thing. He goes, don't you ever have awkward moments in like just in life?
Oh, wow.
Don't you ever go to somebody's house and it's just an awkward moment and you're trying to fit in or you're trying to have a conversation and make it relevant? I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't get that out of control. Like, some of those scenes were just
Out of control.
yeah, like, no, not everybody thinks like this dude. Not everybody does. This is a one of a kind weirdo. So I can't relate to this one.
This character, I didn't watch it yet. I'll check it out. But this character needs to meet Missy from The Wrong Missy.
Okay.
Have you ever watched that?
No.
So I guess it seems kind of similar, like, except it's not a neighbor. It's this person who's just over the top cringe.
Okay.
But they don't think they're cringe.
Okay.
They're so confident in themselves.
Yeah.
They just do it. And so it kind of seems like, I don't know what this guy's like, but like, if you're saying he's a weird neighbor, I think if he met this Missy character, they'd be the exact same. Like, I watched the movie and that movie is really hard to watch. I don't know if you'll watch it, Pauly, only because
Well, I don't know if I want to watch because this movie was
Yeah.
hard to watch. Like
Was it cringy hard?
very.
That's what The Wrong Missy was. It was hard because it was so cringe. You're just like, oh. You're like, no, please.
And
Yeah.
I never want to meet this individual. It's like, of course. I mean, I don't feel bad for him. I feel bad for Paul Rudd, who's the other dude that's just trying to be nice to this
He's
guy.
just trying to be nice. Yeah.
It's like, I feel bad for Paul Rudd. Like, he's too much. Too much.
Put in
He's
the
not even.
boundaries.
So every now and then he'll make these kind gestures, but it's for his own indulgence. So he's self-absorbed. So he's a weird, narcissistic individual that thinks the whole world revolves around him. And he's the main guy. I'm like, what? I don't understand this movie.
Please.
Why are we investing an hour and a half on a guy that is actually the villain of the movie?
Those are the questions we need to ask, Pauly.
Yeah.
Those are the questions.
So, I mean, now I have to check on my son and see if he's okay, because I'm like, I hope you don't think that you're that awkward, because you're not. You not even close.
Aw.
Not even close.
I don't think so. I mean, just the way that you're saying, I could just imagine. And if you were to even take a peek at what that the wrong Missy, you would feel the same way. You would. It's very like, whoa. Like you said, it's not a situation that would happen in everyday life. Like, this is out of control.
Right, yeah.
Like, where did you come from? Who
I
are
feel
you?
like a terrible person to be like judging this individual because he is goofy, but there's some he
like you said, he's like narcissistic.
Yes.
Like he's not
everything he's doing is for his own.
He's not considering other people.
Right.
And that's where you see him. And I totally get that because there are people who maybe are a little bit awkward or cringy like that. But for the most part, I've never met them to be so self-absorbed or they're so self-absorbed, right, into their own selves or like you said, thinking things or people revolve around them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm okay with goofy and cringy. Just
be kind-hearted.
Please.
You don't humble yourself.
Yeah.
Not everything is about you.
it's true.
Right. Yeah.
It's true.
And so I thought when I see Paul Rudd, I'm like, that his character, that's what he was trying to do. He was just trying to
Be nice.
be kind,
Be a kind
and
person.
then this guy just he crossed the line too many times. So where he's like, man, we can't be friends. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're such a bad person because why can't we be friends? Yeah.
That's the worst.
Yeah. It was.
Maybe that movie's to teach boundaries.
I think so.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know? I mean, sometimes it does come off as mean or like, oh, I don't want to hang out with you. But it's just like, look, I like you.
Yeah.
But we just need a space. Or
Yes.
just for like a whole month maybe. And then we'll hang out for a day and then see you next month.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do that. I mean, I feel like I've been trying to do that too. It's hard. How do you tell someone?
Cable Guy. You ever watch Cable Guy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I don't. So
That-
you remember
that.
Yeah, Jim Carrey was the villain. And every now and then, I forgot what his name is. Ferris Bueller. What's his real name? He was just trying to be nice, and every now and then he'll let his guard down because he sees a little bit of like there's
hope
Yeah.
or just something like, okay, he's all right. They're all right.
And then he takes a mile. You give him an inch, and he takes a mile.
He runs with that.
Yeah,
All the way.
that's-
okay. Track star.
That's
That's exactly
That's
that.
exactly it. It's
Wow.
just today's Cable Guy. Yeah.
Period.
Now,
Okay.
I just thought now I have to ask my son, if you like Friendship, have you watched Cable Guy?
Oh snap.
One of my favorite scenes is when they're doing that medieval knights thing and he's singing that. Oh,
He's just getting into it.
Yeah, I think that's from Star Trek. When he's singing along, trying
Yeah.
to beat that dude down. What is his name?
You said the Ferris Bueller.
Ferris
guy?
Bueller, the star of Ferris Bueller, the main Ferris. I forget his name. He every now and then he'll be in a movie, but he was more of like a
Matthew Broderick.
That's him. That's the guy. Yes. So Friendship is a modern day Cable Guy. Yeah.
Here we go. Just remaking the movies now.
And he's still, so the thing about it is he's a husband and a father. So remember our cable guy, he has no family.
Wow.
So this guy has a, so
how are they? That's what we want to know.
See there. Oh, Kyle's chiming in. He knows who they are.
Calm down. We already figured it out.
Matthew
You're too late.
Married
Thank
to
you,
Sarah
though.
Jessica Parker. Yep.
We're talking about Matthew Broderick.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So in friendship, he has a wife and he has a son. But to be honest with you, I feel like that's all been caged in.
Okay.
Because he keeps to himself. He's actually a loner. But when his wife tells him, "Hey, you should," there was this package.
Okay.
That was that was delivered to the wrong address.
Mm-hmm.
And so she says, "Hey, you should. The neighbors. You have new neighbors. This was delivered to us. It was supposed to go there. Maybe you can drop it off." And then that's how he meets Paul Rudd.
No.
And then the wife says, "You should hang out with him." And then I think that's what opened Pandora's box. And he realized there's more to life than being a loner. Oh. And so, but it opened up.
He got excited.
He got too excited.
Oh, finally, someone.
Some people need to just be loners.
Yeah, man. Once you open that box.
Because he is a friend that takes and doesn't give.
I know people like that. Yeah.
Takes and takes and takes. And then gets mad when you don't like the relationship.
Correct. Yeah. When you try to leave, they're like, "Why are you being like this? What have I done to you?" You're just like,
yeah.
What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
So it's an intense movie that I didn't think need to happen, but my son loved it. He says that's he analyzes that movie. He analyzed weapons.
See, that's the one I want. That's another A24 movie, right?
Yeah.
I want to watch that one.
I'm not sure if it's A24.
That might
I forget.
Be my fault.
No, but that's another one of those artsy horror movies, right? I don't know if it's A24, but it's
it's actually Warner Brothers.
There you go.
Yeah, it is kind of artsy where it's got maybe some subliminal or there's some like you gotta like.
So you watched it?
No, but I really want to.
You have
just
to.
Because a lot.
So good.
Did you watch it? Man, Pauly, I need to watch it.
What about you? Had to have watched Superman.
I did watch Superman.
Okay.
That was phenomenal.
Yes.
I enjoyed it very, very, very much. It was a really good Superman.
Yes.
Honestly, I enjoyed it the whole way through. I thought it was fun. I like that they didn't, and maybe I'm trying to say that I like that they didn't make Superman this like noble, like America. He's like, "No, I got my own opinion up in here, y'all.
Right.
What's up?" I'm like, he's not even from here.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed that very much. So it was nice to kind of see that, like...
He's got his own insecurities.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And he thought he knew what he was supposed to be here for.
I know. That one broke my heart.
And then when he realized, wait a minute, but I don't think like that.
And I love that. I love that part so much because, it goes back to that, like, you may have been born into this, but... You don't have to be that.
Right.
You can be whatever you want yourself to be. Just
right.
don't be the guy from Friendship. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
Don't be Paul Rudd.
And
no, Paul Rudd's the one that's dealing with it.
Paul Rudd's dealing with it.
It's the other.
But yeah, Clark Kent, I think he also goes back to the parents that raised him.
Yes, his own family in
Kansas.
Yes.
And so obviously he idolizes his biological family that he goes to and seeks sanctuary with, right? But when times are really hard and he feels like even his own biological parents have let him down, he goes back to his upbringing of his foster or his adopted father and mother that raised him, and so they raised him the right way.
Yeah.
And so
thank you, Kansas people.
Yeah, I love the whole, where they're calling him out like, "See, you're bad," and he goes, "I'm human. We all make mistakes."
I was like,
yeah,
he grew up just like a human being. Yeah,
one foot in front of the other, just like everybody else.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That was really so good, and I can't wait for. Did you watch Fantastic Four?
No, I did not watch that one.
I've heard.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. See, the problem is now with these Marvel movies, it's gonna be on Disney Plus in 2 months.
True.
So
you don't gotta watch it out there. Yeah.
So when I know that a movie is going to be on Disney Plus, it kind of messed things up for me for sure, because now the other movies that I'll go to the theater with are the ones that I don't know where it's going to land on social media. I mean, on online. I don't know if it's going to be on Max. I don't know if it's going to be on Apple TV or Sony. There's so many, so I'll watch it right away. But yeah, somebody's on the line. 2:58 in the afternoon. We don't have much time, but go for it. You're on the air.
Half a day. So now you're on the air.
Can you hear me?
I can. Ben, half a day.
You can run, but you can't hide, Pauly.
No, I can't. Here I am. You found me.
I'm tracking you down. I'm making sure I know what my ride is doing.
There you go.
Hey, anyway, I like Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
I haven't watched that one. Is it good?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Where the apes were the humans and the humans were the apes.
I haven't watched it. I mean, the last time I watched Planet of the Apes, Mark Wahlberg was in it.
Yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and you and me can rule there, Pauly. We're going to open up a radio station.
Well, we're all halfway there because we already have a radio station.
Yeah, I was freaking out when I was reading the front page on our Thursday's newspaper. They showed that big missile, and they were marching it around in China. You see that one?
No.
You didn't see that one, Pauly? They were in the parade. They said, Guam killer.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, man, it's a shame that they'd be doing stuff like that, because we're all going to be in trouble if they ever decide to put their finger on the trigger, because they're going to get hurt. And everybody's going to get hurt. And you and me got nowhere to run and hide, Pauly.
Right. Yeah.
We might end up being Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
Hey, anyway, Pauly, just to let you know, man, I'm just me, and, things like that got to be brought up, because it's on the table, and we got no plans for us out here if it became a real deal. Even George can't run and hide, right, George?
Yeah, I'm hearing George. Hey, do you mind?
He's a blue healer. He's bred in Australia. He's the guy that goes out and rounds up all your cattle and all your sheep.
Right, yeah.
And he'll fight off wolves and bears to protect your...
Ben, I hate to cut this off. We're at the top of the hour, and on the other side, I have Landon Eilert from the National Weather Service. We're going to talk about that blood moon eclipse that happened earlier, and then what to expect in October as well. But please call back. We'll continue this conversation.
Make sure you bring on Heath Bates to your show, too.
Oh, he was on earlier. With Melvin.
It's always nice to bring him again and again and again. Why not?
Sir. Why not? Absolutely.
Hey, anyway, I'll let you go so you can do your thing, man.
Okay, take care. Appreciate it. 3:01 in the afternoon, and so we're going to take the break. Landon Eilert, we're going to give him a call from the National Weather Service. He sent in some photos and footage of what he was able to capture last night. To be honest with you, I thought it was tonight, and I even asked him, like, hey, can you call so we can... do you mind if we call you so we can know what we're going to see tonight? And he's like, well, you can call, but it happened already. I'm like, oh, no, that's not fun. But he'll give us a recap, and so we'll do that in just a bit. KGUM FM in Dededo, Guam.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn. While President Trump expressed frustration with the war in Ukraine dragging out, he says he'll be speaking with Russian President Putin in the next couple of days and feels optimistic.
Certain European leaders are coming over to our country on Monday or Tuesday, and individually. And I think we're going to get that settled. I think we're going to get it settled.
Last night, Russia launched its biggest aerial barrage in Kyiv since the war began. President seems to be moving forward with a plan to send the National Guard and federal immigration agents to Chicago.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is pushing forward with a plan to turn a naval base north of Chicago into a staging area for potential immigration operations. According to an internal government memo obtained by CBS News, the Department of Homeland Security requested roughly 250 federal agents and 140 40 vehicles at the base. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
A policy that helps some undocumented students pay for college has been dismantled.
Now that a federal judge has overturned the bipartisan 2001 Texas DREAM Act, undocumented students, some of whom have lived in the state since they were children, are now being charged the same amount as non-residents. For this woman who was brought to the state by her parents when she was a month old, that means being forced to drop out of the University of North Texas.
I had to do what I had to do and I had to leave.
Until the judge's order, she'd been debt-free because of aid from scholarships. She's now attending a community college. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
A potential school shooting was averted in Tacoma, Washington, and a 13-year-old is in police custody. Cairo TV reporter Samantha Lamibo says a tip led to a police raid in the teen's home.
Investigators reported finding a large number of guns, both locked up and in places the teen had access to. Deputies say they also found loaded magazines marked with school shooter messaging and clothing.
Enough writings from that suspect that would conclude essentially some harm was going to be coming to individuals.
A funeral was held in Houston, Texas for 11-year-old Julian Guzman, who was killed last weekend while playing Ding Dong Ditch. He was shot in the back while running away from a house after ringing the doorbell. Members of the community came out to pay their respects.
My deepest condolences. You know, I have children and I feel for them.
Police have charged the 42-year-old male suspect with murder. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
How are tariffs impacting your wallet?
So far, the impact of tariffs on consumers doing early holiday shopping shows the bark is worse than the bite, according to a survey from Bankrate. But then,
a lot of retailers have been absorbing price hikes. They may not be able to do that forever. Also, a lot of retailers are spending down current inventories.
However, Bankrate's Ted Rossman says many consumers are exhibiting the tariff jitters.
About 4 in 10 holiday shoppers say that they're worried holiday gifts will be more expensive this year.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
Well, many parents have likely felt the agony of stepping on a rogue Lego brick that their kids left on the floor. And now New Zealand mom Gabrielle Wall earned the Guinness World Record running 100 meters across a track of 661 pounds of Legos. And she did it barefoot. Video of the achievement went viral after Guinness posted it on Instagram. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
The talk you want to hear. Wave 105 FM.
All right, half a day, everybody, and welcome here to the Brightside here on Wave 105.1 FM. We'll be coming back to the show and joining us in the 3 o'clock hour. Can't wait to talk about that blood red moon that happened earlier this morning. We'll have more information from Mr. Landon himself. But of course, in this 3 o'clock hour, we got to go ahead and
give a big shout outs to all the amazing people bringing you the show. Big shout outs to our friends over there at GTA. We start with you. Big shout outs to our friends at Subway. You got to refresh to be fresh. Don't forget to check them out today. Our friends over there at Subway, they are taking care of you. You can visit them online at subwaypacific.com. Also, a big shout out going out to our friends at Sherwin-Williams Paint. Be sure to visit Sherwin-Williams Paint today, especially for this wet and dry season. Don't let your roof suffer the consequences. Go and get the right products from Sherwin-Williams Paint. We also want to thank our friends at Chili's. More live, great food and great value happen here. So go and check them out today. Thanks so much to the Code School of Guam. Don't forget, you can learn, you can code, and you can, of course, be a lead at the Island's First Coding Bootcamp. Your future in tech begins with us at Code School of Guam. We also want to thank our friends over there at Sentinel Security Solutions. Be sure you check out our friends at Sentinel Security Solutions. They're taking care of you, especially when it comes to professional security services. They got operational excellence in protective services across commercial, industrial, and residential sectors. And of course, we want to thank our friends over there at MicroPack. Be sure you check them out in the Micro Mall today, or you can even check them out in Challen, San Antonio, and Timoning. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get the Brightside started here on Wave 105.1 FM. The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
I ran into this girl the night before. She reminded me of a golden shore. She was nothing like your average girl next door. She liked DVDs, tattoos, and Paramore.
All right, welcome back to the Brightside here on Wave 105, 310 in the afternoon. So we're going to be reaching out to Landon Islet of the National Weather Service, right? And so, again, I was kind of tracking this, and I just lost track of when exactly the lunar eclipse was going to happen. So I knew it was going to happen this week. I didn't realize it was last night, though. So I reached out to Landon, and he sent me photos and footage of what he captured last night. And so I was looking it up because there was still kind of hope that it could be tonight, because it gave dates like September 7th and then September 8th. And I was like, well, maybe it's September 8th for us here, but it's not. It was September 7th. Well, September 7th going into 8, right? Because it was early morning. So not only did we have an eclipse, but it was like a blood moon. It turned red. And so NASA has some really good footage of the total lunar eclipse time lapse. I was able to find that as well. And so it gave this really cool time lapse of basically it going from a full moon to completely disappearing and then turning red. And then red, and then coming back out to where you can see the full moon again. And so the information that I was able to gather was that the next full moon won't happen until, well, every month, right? We get a new full moon. So we're going to get another one in October, but I don't think we're getting this. I don't think we're getting the eclipse. That doesn't happen very often. And when are we going to get a lunar eclipse in this area that we can watch it? Because even like it was my family members that told me stateside to be looking out for this this blood moon eclipse, because they're not going to be able to see it. We will. He's on the line now? Yes. Yeah. Off day, Landon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I was kind of like teasing myself, right? Because again, I missed out on the eclipse, but you didn't.
Yeah, and we found out about it last night. I always hear about these things like right before they happen. I'm like, when is it going to be? And it's like, oh, it's in 3 hours. And so luckily I saw a Facebook post yesterday from somebody in Saipan. I was like, okay, let me look this up and get the details on it. And sure enough, it was a total lunar eclipse. And so if you're looking out for it tonight, you're out of luck. It was last night, early this morning.
It was. But it's still the footage that you sent over. I was impressed with what you were able to capture.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised because I know we had a lot of showers and some clouds and the high-level overcast yesterday evening and overnight, so I was worried about that. We had a flare-up of showers and thunderstorms just west of us, and the atmospheric patterns put a lot of that over the Guam. If you're in southern Guam, you probably missed it for the most part, but there's a little bit of break right over like Tumon, central Guam, and northern Guam, right during the peak of the eclipse. And so I stepped out on my rooftop right around 4 o'clock this morning, and it was in full display. It's like very super dim, nice blood moon color, and it was just spectacular to see it.
Yeah. So when did it start? Like around 1 in the morning?
Yeah, that's correct. The eclipse got its start right about 1:18, and then it reached totality right about 3:30, and that continued on into 4:50 this morning, and then it was all over, I think, by 6:18 this morning.
Right. So what did you do? Did you knew you set your clock and you woke up at a decent amount of time? I can't imagine you being up at 1 in the morning just watching.
I surely wish that was the case. I usually wake up at 2:30 or 3 o'clock every day, and I get my day started super early. So it was perfect. I did not wake up at 1 o'clock to watch it. I think I'll wait till the totality and get the good part. But it was just a remarkable view, just spectacular.
Yeah.
And the clouds really worked well for some of us across the island, especially for Tinian and Saipan, where it was crystal clear skies up there.
Wow. Do some of your colleagues get jealous of being in this region, or we see some and we miss some? Is that usually how it works?
Sometimes, depending on where you are, the lunar eclipses will, a lot of people around the globe will see it because the Earth's shadow is much larger than the moon, so it's a lot more people get to see those eclipses than do a solar eclipse, for example, where it's a very tight shadow. But, we like to rub it in our stateside counterparts' faces when we can on the beauty and the uniqueness of this region.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because it was actually family members in Texas that were telling us about it and said, we're not going to be able to see it, but you will. And then, sure enough, when they messaged us, or I saw the message today, I'm like, oh no, it's probably tonight, because they asked if I saw. I'm like, I think it's tonight, and they're like, okay. And now, so I sent them one of your shots and said, here's what it did look like. From the National Weather Service team, and so they're pretty happy about it. So if you see your photo from somebody posting it like in a Texas chat, then it's your photo.
Yeah, that probably happens from time to time. I've seen my photos circulating, different photos I've taken through the years. Pop up from time to time, and sometimes I have my name on it. Usually I don't. But yeah.
So what is the history that you when you're tracking these lunar eclipses and I imagine when we don't know the full science of it all, what even whole nations of people think what they're seeing up in the sky.
And I was just talking to somebody about that this morning. The myths and speculation and folklore that goes around with eclipses, and if I had more time, I would like to Google search just lunar eclipse myths and facts and stuff like that, because the things that you could probably find in such a research would be mind-boggling. And so I think if somebody's listening, if they want something to do, write up a summary of myths and legends regarding lunar eclipse, but even more so solar eclipse, because when the sun gets blocked out by the Earth's shadow, it's incredible. And so remarkable stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Actually, if the sun gets blocked out by the moon between the Earth.
Right.
But yeah, we do have another lunar eclipse coming up for Guam. That's going to be in March of 2026. I think it's March 3rd, 2026. Will be a total lunar eclipse. So if you want to see it, mark your calendar now, and you won't miss it.
Right. Just don't be like me and get the exact date wrong. So what about solar?
Exactly.
So what about solar eclipses? Are you tracking that? When can we see here in Guam?
I know we had that one in the States that many people were getting excited about. I'm not sure if it was last year. Time flies so fast when you're out here.
Right.
But let me tell you a webpage that I like to use. It's called timeanddate.com. This is one of the best go-to web pages for lunar and solar eclipses. And you can type in a city or a location, and it'll track all the eclipses in line for your area, for your specific area. And for us, that zooms in on Hagåtña, Guam. And so you can go into the webpage and find all the eclipses over the next several years, and you can be ready for it. Some of them are way down the road for us, but some are pretty close, including the March 3rd, 2026 total lunar eclipse. That's March 3rd and 4th. We'll have a partial lunar July 7th, 2028. I don't see anything on the solar eclipses on this page specifically, but you can change your search and find out what's coming up. So, yeah, it's always interesting stuff.
What's funny too is a lot of these articles will be like, the next one isn't happening for another 100 years, but I feel like we get these blood moon eclipses and whatnot. It's more common, but I guess the exact science behind it, there's some truth to not seeing this specific kind of eclipse or color.
It varies by area to area, and also whether it's going to be a penumbral lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse, a partial. There's a lot of scientific terms and varieties in that, as well as like an annular solar eclipse or a partial solar eclipse or total. And so on June 1st, 2030, there will be a partial solar eclipse here in Guam. But let me see. I don't see a total solar eclipse, at least for the next 15 years for our area.
Understood. Well, while I got you, anything else that you're tracking that, how's our friends and family in Hawaii? They're good, right?
Yeah, they're good. We are still watching that Hurricane Kiko.
Yeah.
It's still spinning up over there. But I know there's been a lot of anticipation and fears of travelers going in and near Hawaii, especially for people on vacation. But it looks like this thing's going to be tracking just north of the Hawaiian Islands. And fortunately for them, this is a very small, compact hurricane. Some of our typhoons, they have a very large footprint on the weather maps in our region, but this is a very compact system. So not large. It was a Category 3 or 4, but the wind field is very tight to that inner core. They'll probably get some peripheral winds, some showers and thunderstorms, especially if there's rain bands pass over the islands, especially those windward mountainsides of the larger mountains. But the worst of it looks like it's going to be just north of the islands. If you will be in the Hawaiian area, do watch out for waves and surf. It's likely to be some very significant waves, some swell, and hazardous surf across north and east-facing reefs and beaches of the Hawaiian Islands. So they'll be tracking this one. It is weakening. It's getting over colder water, so that's the wind field will start to weaken. It might expand just a little bit, but that wind field overall, those peak winds, they are on a downward trend. I think we've seen peak intensity with Kiko, and that is the good news for those in Hawaii.
Nice. And then for us with this wet weather, this is something that we usually are familiar with during this time anyways. But yeah, we're going to continue to see this kind of wet weather into October and November.
That's correct. We are right there in the peak of the wet season here, and it was a beautiful sunny morning. We had some heavy showers pass over early this morning right after sunrise.
Right.
And then it cleared out for a nice dry midday, but then we had some thunderstorms pop up just over western parts of Guam and moved offshore to the western coastal waters. We've seen significant lightning with that thunderstorm, a very large cluster of thunderstorms over most of the western waters. And that's, of course, part of that TUT cell. We've been talking for a couple months now about the TUT season, the tropical upper tropospheric trough. And that's, you think of supplements for weight training and stuff. This is one of those performance-enhancing drugs for the atmosphere. If you have a TUT cell nearby and you have light showers, that TUT cell could provide that extra boost of energy to make these showers very heavy torrential rainfall for folks that's under it, and thunderstorms and lightning with a lot of lightning potential. And so we're seeing that tut cell. We've got a low-pressure area and high in the atmosphere. That's well northeast of Saipan. But the larger influence around that tut cell, that is influencing the atmosphere around Guam, Rota, all of the CNMI, as well as the areas southward toward Yap. So these are very large features. If you look at some of our maps, you'll see a broad spin. That is not a surface circulation. It's not a typhoon, but it's just one of those upper atmospheric disturbances. And that's very common for this region between May and September.
Okay, yeah. I think also I briefly heard you talking about like some of the swells that we were seeing. Obviously, we had that tsunami advisory that came out, right? And so these are things that we have to still be aware of when we're talking about myths, right? The myth
Correct.
of I heard you talking with Norm Analista that
Correct.
our coral reef. Our reef out there is protecting us from tsunamis, but that's not the case.
Yeah, we have some mitigating factors, and it's all about that bathymetry, the seafloor around the islands. And so the waters are, fortunately for us, very deep around the islands, and so that mitigates some of the wave impacts that we would have versus some of our counterparts with that continental sloping feature in the ocean, the seafloor, where that seafloor gradually rises up to the surface. We have a very steep incline, and so in Japan, where you had that very large wave in 2011, they have more of a continental shelf in some areas, and that allowed that water to pile up into these monstrous waves. Also in Indonesia in 2004, we're not going to see that quite of tsunami, but when we say that we do have a tsunami come through the region, we definitely had that on July 30th. We measured it right about 0.7 feet in Saipan and right just under a half foot here in Guam. Will you see that if you're looking at the water? Probably not. But the tide gauges and the sensors, they see that wave because it's a specific characteristic, unlike the wind swell and wind waves that we see at the beach every day breaking on the reef. But again, the big problem here is for us to be concerned would be the Mariana Trench. If we had a large earthquake in the Mariana Trench, that could generate a tsunami that could reach our shores in 10, 15, 20 minutes. There won't be enough time to issue a text bulletin saying, hey, there's a tsunami warning. That earthquake will be your only warning. It's going to be a natural warning sign. But also the Philippine Trench, if we had a large earthquake off of eastern Philippines or Mindanao, that could generate a tsunami that could reach our shores in 2 to 2.5 hours. And then, of course, the Nankai Trough off of southern Japan, if a large earthquake happened there, that wave energy, should it be generated, would be directed our direction. So far in our lifetimes, we've been very fortunate.
Right.
But we're not tsunami-proof by any means. So we have to keep that in mind. We always have to plan, posture, and exercise our capabilities, our coordination, our communications with multiple agencies so that everyone's ready and prepared, because these events are relatively infrequent, but they are typically a high impact. And we saw the impact that little event on July 30th had on our region. And so we always have to be ready. We have to know the terminology. What's the difference between a tsunami watch, a tsunami warning, and a tsunami advisory, and actions you should take for each of those.
Right. So speaking of which, National Preparedness Month, you had the signing, what was that, last Friday?
Correct.
Yeah, and so, I mean, when you talk about holistic approach, there's so many agencies, local and federal, that were there, right? And so so many people, local and federal, are engaging when it comes to preparedness, right?
And I think it's these events like the proclamation signing where we have everybody in the room, all the agencies, the stakeholders, whether it's local, territorial, and federal, and some NGOs even. It's all of these people in the community that are working together. We're like a family. And as much as I dislike typhoon events here on the island, the thing I do like about typhoon events is being at the Emergency Operations Center, working with the Homeland Security folks and all of the folks in the EOC, because it's really like a family, because it's the people we know, the people we're familiar with, working through disaster events or other events, working together around the clock. And it really takes a team of coordinated people to pull that off successfully. And so having everybody in the governor's office on Friday was almost like a reunion to have all the agencies, and we get to talk shop with each other, smile and laugh, and we can talk without having some disaster looming over our heads in the coming days. But the coordination between multiple agencies is significant, and how you do that, it's a testament to the work that's being done at Homeland Security to keep the agencies working together, up to date with plans, processes, and procedures, and then also the communications that must take place before disaster, whether it's an earthquake, tsunami, or a typhoon. Those communications, this coordination, that has to be a fixture in our organizations.
Absolutely. You know what's pretty impressive is, at least from what I've seen in media, is the National Weather Service, because I'm looking at where you're sitting at this proclamation signing, but you're part of all of that. Like your office is so integral to any kind of planning when it comes to emergency response, right? And so is that just unique to this region? Do you see the same thing in the continental U.S. where your office is right next to the governor and their civil defense people posturing right there? Is there another Landon and a Brandon Islet that's sitting right next to the governor of Texas or the governor of California or New York?
It's really hard to say because my entire agency history has been here on Guam. And whether that's good or bad, my entire career in the Weather Service has been only at this one office. And I've climbed through the ranks from a junior forecaster up to my current position now, second in command of the Weather Office. But it's been one of my objectives since I came to the Guam office was that I think this office, more than our counterparts in the States, we have to go above and beyond the call of duty of our normal routine and operations because we live in a community where there are no television meteorologists, there's no broadcasters communicating weather. And so if we're not actively communicating and talking about weather, there's a major information blackout on weather conditions. And when people don't get weather information, they're going to fill those gaps with whatever they can find on social media or websites they think is accurate. And it's not always correct. And so I've told my staff here that if the community is talking about weather, we need to be in that conversation, if not leading it, preferably. But regarding working with the governor and the governor's office and Homeland Security, weather is very much front and center, whether it's a weather disaster or weather event unfolding, which we're going to be critical, but even a non-weather event, weather can and does impact operations for personnel safety. I mean, we can't have responders out there doing widespread rescues and responses if the weather is going to be becoming severe in 6 hours. They need to know that. And so weather is going to be front and center in a lot of discussions. I think we have a unique situation here in Guam, even though we're a large community by my standards where I grew up. We're 160,000 people. We have, in some degrees, we feel like a county, a city, but also a state here with a lot of federal involvement. And so I think we have a unique situation that we can work closely with the governor and that we have easy links to the governor and people that are in a high level of decision-making capacity that we can work and speak directly to them to get critical information to them. And I think that's a unique success of our region. It's not always like that in other states. The Weather Service agency-wide, they are working to get Weather Service employees positioned in state-level emergency operations centers so they can have that direct contact to Weather Service personnel. But with 122 weather forecast offices across the United States, we like to be very closely oriented with our decision-makers, our emergency managers, whether it's local, county, state, city, or federal partners, because we want to be accessible and our decision support services are critical to their operations.
Absolutely. I think even fires, right? I mean, fires are can be affected by the weather as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate this, whether it be talking about lunar eclipses or just talking about disaster preparedness. I appreciate you always being available to us, right? And so I thank you for this. I thank you for these conversations, and looking forward to the next conversation on your Tower for Humanity. I'm tracking your tracking for your latest release.
That later this week, actually. We'll have a lot of information coming out later this week. A lot of good details. And
sweet.
We've had so many volunteers from the community participating as drop sites and also construction teams.
Nice.
And we're always looking for more teams, more organizations to be construction teams. So if you're interested, do reach out to us on Tower for Humanity on Facebook, Instagram. And if you have my contact, reach out to me or the radio station here because we all know how to get in contact with Brandon or myself. And I just found out the next total solar eclipse for Guam is just around the corner.
Okay.
I probably won't be around to see it, but it's going to be in 2200.
Neither will I.
I mean, things might change. There might be some kind of development in science.
Right.
We'll have to see how that plays out.
Right. All right. I appreciate this very much. And as soon as I see that release, we'll invite you back, whether it's over the phone or in studio this week for sure.
Absolutely. Sounds great. We got new logs that just came in, custom logs to make this project work. We're still signing up teams, so a lot of stuff coming together. It's just a lot of good stuff for the community.
Well, thank you for always being part of the good stuff for the community.
Absolutely.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Adios. 3:34 in the afternoon. We'll take the break. Yeah, the bright side right here on Wave 105.
Eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at SubwayPacific.com for pickup at your convenience or delivery right to your doorstep. Online ordering at SubwayPacific.com is powered by Good to Go. We deliver. At Subway, you gotta refresh to be fresh.
Hafade Guausi Pauly Suba. Don't forget to catch the bright side every weekday afternoon from 2 to 6 on Wave 105. From big laughs to big issues, if it's happening on island, we're breaking it down with island leaders, business owners, and you. I want to send so much love to our sponsors, Micropack, Local Jerk, GTA, Sherwin-Williams Paint, Chili's, and Subway. Take a break from all of that shade and join the bright side on Wave 105.
The new and improved Chili's 3 for Me deal is here. Starting at $12.99, get a drink, an appetizer, and an entree. You heard right. You can get a Coke, chips and salsa, and an old timer with cheese for only $12.99. Only at Chili's. Great food and value happen here.
Bolt your doors, lock your windows, turn off your lights, and come with me into the Weird Darkness. I'm Darren Marlar, the host of Weird Darkness, every Thursday night from 6 to 8 here on Wave 105.1. Every week on Weird Darkness, you'll hear 2 hours of stories of the paranormal, supernatural, legends, lore, crime, conspiracy, mysterious, macabre, unsolved, and unexplained. Weird Darkness, this Thursday night at 6 on Wave 105.1.
At Wave 105 FM, we're more than just a station. We're your platform, your voice, your conversation. We're talking about what matters most to you today and in our future. And we want you to be part of it. Got something to say? We're listening. Different opinions? Bring them on. Let's talk, let's debate, let's connect, because every voice counts. Call or WhatsApp us at 671-922-1051. And if that line's busy, hit us up at 922-1052. This is Talk Radio for everyone. This is Wave 105 FM, the talk of Guam.
Mark your calendars, Guam. Red Ball 2025 is approaching, and with it comes an evening of elegance, purpose, and community. This celebrated event unites our island in support of a meaningful cause, honoring the spirit of giving through style, compassion, and connection.
The American Red Cross helped me begin my process of recovery and building in a very unexpected way. I started volunteering with the Guam chapter in July of 2024, drawn to help with Operation Never Forgotten, which revitalizes the Guam Veteran Cemetery, ensuring that the final resting place of our fallen service members and their families is treated with dignity and care. Standing side by side Alongside with fellow volunteers, I felt a deep sense of meaning, especially as I reflected that someday my own parents would rest there. The Red Cross gave me more than a place to serve. It gave me a place to grieve, to honor, and to heal. Through their mission, I found purpose in pain and hope in loss. For that, I will always be grateful. The Red Cross is always there for our military, our veterans, and our community. Your generosity makes the Red Cross mission possible. Because of you, we bring comfort and care to our military service members, veterans, and families, while standing ready for our island community in times of need. With every contribution, you help the Red Cross turn compassion into action, bringing hope to those who serve and to the communities we call home.
Get double the speed at zero extra cost with GTA Fiber. Experience super fast and reliable fiber internet speeds, now starting at 200 Mbps to 1 gig, with upload speeds just as fast as download speeds and 100 times faster than cable internet. You can enjoy lag-free gaming and clear video calls. Fast is also affordable. Sign up for Fiber 200 for only $70 a month. Visit gta.net or call 644-4482. Terms and conditions apply.
When your company achieves success, it deserves more than recognition. It deserves a celebration. The Hilton Guam Resort and Spa will set the stage for events that inspire, impress, and bring teams together. From board meetings to year-end parties, the Hilton's dedicated team ensures every detail reflects your company's excellence. And when you book your banquet, enjoy exclusive savings on guest rooms. The Hilton Guam Resort and Spa, where businesses celebrate success. Call 671-646-1835, extension 5306 to plan your next corporate event.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome back. Brightside here on Wave 105. Viva Lunes! It's Monday, September 8th. We were sharing during the break another movie that I watched over the weekend, Tina. I watched it in the theater at the Micronesia Mall. I'm not sure if it's over at Regal Theater.
I think it is.
It is?
I wanted to watch it, and Regal's mine.
Okay,
Theater.
Regal's mine too. Yeah.
But no. Still a great movie. Well, at least I've heard, nonetheless.
Yeah, it was
So
good.
tell us about it. Well, without
So
spoiling, but
So it's not based on a true story. So it's based off of a real person. So her name is Moretta Percival. And I was like, if her name's Moretta Percival, why is her name Tina?
I've been tricked.
So when my wife, you were telling me that teachers love this movie.
Yes.
And so it's UOG professors that were talking about this movie. So my wife was saying, you want to go watch this movie, Tina? And I was like, what? I think I watched a bunch of Tina Turner movies, like on Lifetime or whatever. I'm not that. Another Tina Turner movie, I'm good. So she said, no.
That's okay.
Not Tina Turner.
Come on, Tina.
Tina, mother. And I'm like, I don't know. So Samoan, that's what mother means. Tina. Tina is mother.
Oh, no, wait.
Yeah.
And is that how you pronounce it? Tina. Okay.
I'm probably still pronouncing it wrong.
No, because, in the spelling, it's the N with the...
Yeah. So it's not Tina, but Tina. I think it's Tina.
Tina.
Yeah. So it's basically Sister Act. But
Island version.
Yes. So she's in New Zealand,
Mm-mm.
right? And there's a whole Samoan community there. And I don't know. I'll just read from the synopsis. If I read the synopsis,
No.
it gives it away.
Oh, but I feel like... Okay, look, no
It's
offense, but the
good.
synopsis is always there too.
Right?
And they kind of, if you think about it, the synopsis is something of the trailer.
Yes.
Because the trailer does give away stuff, but you don't know how it happens. You
Okay,
don't know.
did you watch the trailer?
I did.
So then what did you see in the trailer then?
fine.
What did you see in the trailer?
No, it was a very short.
Okay.
It was short. It was the lady.
Yes.
She was crying.
Yes.
And then she was talking to the students. Very small kind of, like you couldn't tell the dialogue between them.
Right.
And then it kind of showed her with the choir.
Yes.
As That's
the
like
Big Sing.
Yes.
So it's this famous New Zealand choir or choral competition. And so she goes to this prestigious private school or Catholic school. Yeah, because it's St. Francis of Assisi. That's the name of the school. They don't have a choir club.
Mm-mm.
And so she has a choir background in church, and she's taught so many kids how to be in a choir. So she's already a famous individual, known in her own community.
Mm.
But she loses her daughter in an earthquake. I believe in a real earthquake, right? So I thought it was based on a true story. I walked in thinking this is real.
Yeah.
Like this is the life that she lived. But no, the person's real, but a lot of what is in the movie did not happen. But it's so good. It is so good. From beginning to end, I was impressed.
Oh.
Yeah. And I could not stop crying every time. So every whether it was happy tears or sad tears, because that movie taught me to never judge a person because you don't know what they're going through in life.
For sure.
Because it taught me also, like, because I was judging these kids already. I was like, oh, these guys are rich kids.
Oh,
stop. They are, they have everything. They're entitled.
Yeah.
They come from rich families.
Yeah.
They're obviously in a very prestigious school, so they get everything that they ever wanted in life. And so when I saw that, I was even catching myself judging about how, why is she there? She could be teaching at like a public school and she could be helping the less fortunate or marginalized children. But that movie taught me you never know what the next person is going through. And so these kids, it shows their trauma. It shows what they're going through at that school, and then within their own families. And the pressure on them too. So it is a very good movie. And it also made me look at my own, I need to catch myself too when I'm caught judging.
Same. I think, can I just say, it's a hard life to live.
Yeah.
To be on both sides. You do a really great job at that, Pauly, especially here on the show. But it is hard. It's hard to not judge someone because, and then when you start thinking about it, you're like, oh man, but you don't know what they're going through. And you're like, oh, but they're so mean. And you're like, but man, they're like that because of this. And you're like, I just want to be upset. Dang. Yeah. But yeah, it's true. I like movies that are like that, that make you kind of feel how the characters are feeling in the movie, right? Like someone judging them or you're the judger. And then you find out the hardships they go through, what they have to go, walk through every single day. And you're like, oh.
And they're just kids too.
Just babies.
Yeah.
It's not their fault,
right.
Pauly. It's their parents. Just kidding. Sorry.
Mike, the sports guy, is on the radio. All right.
Hi, sir. You're on the air.
Week 1 of the NFL,
Week 1
right?
And done.
Almost, right. We
got done. The Monday night game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tuesday our time.
Right. So everything pan out the way you knew it was going to pan out, or some surprises?
Well, let's put it this way. A couple of games from when I was looking at the box scores were closer than people thought they were going to be. 1-point game, 2-point game.
Right.
Not bad. Of course, you had the Packers taking out the Lions, in which I'm probably thinking the Lions were probably still hibernating a little bit before they decide to kick it in gear. Anyways, you got to remember, it's only week 1, man. If they're going to say the season's over already, then then you might as well not pay attention to sports at all.
Right. The Chiefs surprised me that they lost in week 1 too, but just seeing that they still had a chance at the very end shows still that the Chiefs are still a team to be reckoned with this year too.
I think that had something to do with the game being in Brazil, man, and I think they drank the water. Hey, I'm giving them their out. That's the out clause.
There you go. Yeah, they still had an opportunity to win that game. I think it was they didn't pick up the quarterback, right? The quarterback was able to run more than 10 yards and run out the clock, but they almost had it. I think it was 3rd and long.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, all I know is they ended up losing. So
right.
Yeah,
they did.
Raiders won.
The Raiders did 20-13.
Niners barely squeaked by.
It was frustrating.
I had fun with Patty and Dice this morning.
Oh, it was so frustrating. I mean, again, here we go again with Moody missing 2 field goals back to back. Terrible. Yeah.
Oh.
It was our defense that saved us. It was the defense.
Yeah, so praise your defense right now and pray that nobody gets injured.
Right, that was a scare. Christian McCaffrey all weekend. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play?
Yeah. At the same time, how about that Sunday night game, man? If you were to tell me that was going to be a college score instead of an NFL score, I would have said, yeah, right.
Right. I only saw the highlights. The Bills came back, right? They were down 15 points going into the fourth quarter, and they were able to squeak by 41-40.
Yeah, 41-40. That's what I said. If you were to tell me that was going to be a college score instead of a NFL score, I would have said, yeah, right.
And you're right. Week 1, it's only week 1. I like where the Ravens are too. The Ravens can bounce back, and I think they're right in the thick of things.
Well, they've got a coach in Harbaugh, so there's experience there.
Right.
At the same time, they brought everyone back, and I don't recall if they added anyone to their either defense or offense.
Right.
So
I mean, their quarterback is still, MVP caliber.
Come on, dude. You're going to go against Jackson? Jeez.
Yeah.
Like Outkast saying, Thomas Jackson, he is for real. Yes. But at the same time, going from national sport. Oh, speaking of national sports, did you read about when President Trump was at the U.S. Open and he got booed?
Because he made them miss the finals, right?
No, because he was there.
Oh, he was there? I thought he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was like making some kind of speech or something, and people actually missed.
All I recall is I happened to see a thing online, an article online that said President booed while at the U.S. Open. I'm like,
okay.
What do you expect, dude?
Yeah.
You're making unpopular decisions. You're not doing things that you said you could do, and so you're reaping your rewards.
I saw the new article of the Navy SEALs, that mission in North Korea, in his first presidency in 2019. And he says this is the first he heard of it, but there are reports coming out saying that no, he signed off on that mission, that he gave the green light for them to go ahead and do that mission in North Korea. And then unfortunately the Navy SEALs, when they saw a fishing vessel right above their mini sub, they shot at the fishing vessel. I think killed an individual, maybe more than one, to be honest. And that was the end of that mission.
The one with the Venezuelan ship.
No, this was in North Korea. That's a whole nother thing.
Okay. Sorry. I apologize.
No worries.
I forgot you said North Korea.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the latest incident with Venezuela, where he's like,
that's super recent
we'll
too.
We'll shoot first, ask questions later.
Right.
It's like,
right.
I can understand if they were shooting at you first, but
there's.
But anyways,
yes.
Getting back to the more important stuff.
Okay,
sports.
got it.
Some local stuff going on tonight.
What is it?
Some middle school girls basketball games. The only one I can tell you is that I know of is the undefeated Bishop Obispos going up against St. Dominic's.
Okay.
I mean, the Dominican team.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if somebody's still undefeated after that game, and we'll see if somebody has a loss for the first year of the season.
Who usually wins that? The Obispos are usually the champs, right, for the private school, middle school basketball team?
From what I've understood, Last year's champs was the St. John Knights.
Oh, really?
But they got upset by the up-and-comers from Mount Carmel.
Ah, there you go.
So
Harvest is pretty good too, right?
Don't know.
Okay.
My intel isn't that great right now.
Okay, got it. Neither is mine.
But at the same time, though, you never know.
Right.
You never know. That's why they play the games, and they don't just listen to you and me talking about them all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. What about football? I know there was FD played JFK over the weekend.
Yes, that happened, and there was also some volleyball matches going on.
Okay.
Don't know who won between the only game I know that happened Friday night. I mean that I was made aware of was GW going down to NG.
Okay.
And I heard that was kind of close to a certain extent, but I don't know what the outcome was of that game. And I know there was probably some cross country that happened this past Friday or Saturday. So,
nice.
So yeah. At the same time, I know tomorrow there's going to be some middle school boys soccer going on up at Eagles Field.
Nice.
Yeah. So there you go. Your sports report on the Pauly Suba Show, and keep knocking them out.
Thank you for allowing us to lean on you and your report. So I appreciate that, Mike.
Hey, not a problem.
Okay.
Anytime.
Well, if you got more tomorrow, feel free to call in, yeah?
We'll see what happens with that Monday night game.
That's right. That's right. All right, Mike. Take care.
You have a great day, too.
Will do. Mike, the sports guy, right here on Wave 105. Yeah. Man, so he's on. Like, he's even got the middle school girls basketball.
He's got it all.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like
Yes.
that he's covering
All of them.
nationwide
Yeah.
and right here in the local, too. He's
Right?
a tonight, even.
There you go. Yep, absolutely. Let me see. What else do we got coming up soon? I'm tracking. I want to get the mayor of Manilao on this week because the Doni Festival is back this weekend. Yeah, this Friday. It's already going to be September 12th. So the Manilao Doni Festival, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with fireworks. So they've got fireworks to end the Doni Festival on Sunday. So I'm looking at the lineup now. Food trucks, games, rides, food vendors, opening remarks, the Ben Dishon at 6:30, and then music by DJ Dave. This is Friday from 5 to 9. So if you want to get in to be honest with you, I feel like the Thursday night market like bleeds right in. So it's almost like it's unofficially 4 days of the Doni Festival, right? So you've got the Thursday night market, and then you've got the Friday, the first night of the Doni Festival, then Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. 11 a.m. is Zumba with Marlene Gumabon. 12 p.m., the biggest chili pepper competition and awards. 1 p.m., the Pika dessert competition and awards. At 2 p.m., the Kadun Pika, the Munuk competition and awards. 3 p.m., contemporary dance show with Talent Box. 5:30 p.m. is DJ Dave is going to be back on the stage. And then 7:30, you've got a cultural dance show, Guma I Menyetlu. Sunday, more food trucks, games, rides, food vendors. And then 11 a.m., they do the Zumba again with Marlene Gumabon. At 12 p.m., you've got slinging competitions. And then at 1 p.m., my favorite, the hottest, it's already hot in my mouth. That's why I'm saying, hottest. The Doni eating competition, 1 p.m.
Are you going to do that?
No way.
I kind of want to, just to suffer a little bit.
Yeah? You've judged before, right? You've judged these before? No,
I haven't. I would have loved to.
Yeah.
If the Mayor Angakta, please.
Yes, right?
That would be cool. I actually was, I'm really looking forward to that fiesta.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I've been on I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's like when you hit your 30s, but
You're already 30?
Yeah, Pauly.
No way.
Yeah, I'm 30 years old.
thought you were like still like at least 27.
No, I'm
Wow.
literally 30.
Time flies by.
Oh gosh,
You were
Pauly,
like
duh.
right out of high school
Yeah, I was
when
like
I first met you.
18. I was 18 years old when I
Yeah.
started on radio.
Fresh out of high school.
That's right. That's right. Fresh nowhere now. Seasoned.
You're still like the official GW pep rally host, right?
That's right. I hope so. Shout outs to G Dub, but also shout outs to my friends at Ukadu. They have me over all the time, and I love that.
That's probably they're probably like Reese is over at Ukadu again.
You know what? I always tell my alma mater, I'm like, I'm right here. This is my fault. Maybe I should call them up because, I really considered like doing stuff for free for the proms.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's my alma mater.
Yeah.
It's my alumni.
Right.
Like, why not? So, what's up, y'all, geckos? Just let me know. Reese over here.
Shout outs to Ukadu also because
For
Ukadu we were
sure.
we were celebrating with them on Friday.
Mhm.
Because we got word from GDOE that they like scored super high.
That's right. In English and math or language, something like that.
Yeah, let me pull it up. But,
I saw that too.
And then how they rewarded them with a mini concert.
Pauhana, yeah.
Yeah, showed up to Ukadu.
That's awesome.
That's how you do it. Yeah, lead the way. They won. They celebrated their achievement in innovation, earning the highest English language arts score in the district, surpassing some states such as California, Oregon, and Washington. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
That is. I mean, I don't know. But for the longest time, all I heard was our scores are low.
Yes.
Honestly.
Right.
And I'm not saying that even just
When I
recent.
was in high school, our
right?
scores were
Thank
low.
you, Pauly. No, that's what I'm trying to say is like when I was going to high school, they're like, the scores are low. You guys need to do better.
Right.
I'm like, I hate it here. I don't want to fill in the bubble again.
I'll be honest
SAT
too.
who?
I'll be honest. I could care less.
Dude, it was always the math. That's the one that made me nervous.
I didn't. It didn't. Like, how is this benefiting me? Like, because I'm selfish and self-absorbed, like the dude in Friendship. Not realizing how it affects the whole school and the whole district, right?
I don't think anyone really explained that to us. I don't think anyone, and it's not that we weren't taking it seriously, if I can be honest. Some of these things I genuinely don't know. Right. It's not like I was just lollygagging in school and I wasn't even like who I am now is definitely a different person from when I was in high school. Like I'm not the same.
I think also, I think even if it was explained to me, I just wasn't there in that mind. I didn't have that mindset.
Right. Same.
I was like,
why do we gotta do this every year?
I'm gonna just do the CBDCAB.
They bound to be right a little bit. My favorite, I don't know why this is my favorite part, but when you get the test started and they pass out all the materials, so in the math they give you the paper ruler.
Oh yeah,
pen, you know what I mean? I don't know why that was my favorite. I never knew what to do with the ruler, but I was like,
my favorite was to break the seal.
Yeah. That's a good one too. Oh my gosh, just us living in our glory days.
Yeah.
Good days.
If you need scratch paper, raise your hand, and one will be provided to you. If your pencil breaks, lift your pencil up in the air, and another one will be brought to you. Yeah. But it was so cool to see how I saw footage too of how they were celebrating them. They were letting the seniors walk down like a catwalk.
Yeah.
And they had sashes on.
Oh.
Yeah.
What?
And they were just
well deserved.
Yeah, the whole Ukadu community. They were cheering for them as they were walking down the aisle, right? Because these are juniors, now seniors, and so they were celebrating them. 4:02 in the afternoon, we'll take the break. There is a release and more updates from GDOE on these. It's so strange, and they're isolated issues, right? They're not the same. But if you look at the track pattern of lockdowns, that have been happening at GDOE, there's one every day since Wednesday. So that's alarming. Obviously, they're isolated. They're not connected in any way. And I would just say that this is just a strange coincidence. And I blame the lunar eclipse. Something in the atmosphere is affecting all of this. Yeah. So
something in the microwave, as they say.
So I'll share a little bit of that on the other side of the CBS News. And then we haven't even touched the public hearings. There were 2 public hearings today. And so one has to do with a homeless shelter in Tamuning. And so we'll start talking about that. And then obviously we still have not touched the budget as they are having those discussions. A number of releases and letters have been made public. One from the governor to GMHA staff, one from the administrator, Lillian Perez-Posadas. These things we haven't even talked about yet. And so we got 2 more hours to unpack all of that right here on the Bright Side here on Wave 105 KGUM FM in Dededo, Guam.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn. While President Trump expressed frustration with the war in Ukraine dragging out, he says he'll be speaking with Russian President Putin in the next couple of days and feels optimistic.
Certain European leaders are coming over to our country on Monday or Tuesday, and individually. And I think we're going to get that settled. I think we're going to get it settled.
Last night, Russia launched its biggest aerial barrage in Kyiv since the war began. President seems to be moving forward with a plan to send the National Guard and federal immigration agents to Chicago.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is pushing forward with a plan to turn a naval base north of Chicago into a staging area for potential immigration operations. According to an internal government memo obtained by CBS News, the Department of Homeland Security requested roughly 250 federal agents and 140 vehicles at the base. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
A policy that helps some undocumented students pay for college has been dismantled.
Now that a federal judge has overturned the bipartisan 2001 Texas DREAM Act, undocumented students, some of whom have lived in the state since they were children, are now being charged the same amount as non-residents. For this woman who was brought to the state by her parents when she was a month old, that means being forced to drop out of the University of North Texas.
I had to do what I had to do and I had to leave.
Until the judge's order, she'd been debt-free because of aid from scholarships. She's now attending a community college. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
A potential school shooting was averted in Tacoma, Washington, and a 13-year-old is in police custody. Cairo TV reporter Samantha Lamibo says a tip led to a police raid in the teen's home.
Investigators reported finding a large number of guns, both locked up and in places the teen had access to. Deputies say they also found loaded magazines marked with school shooter messaging and clothing.
Enough writings from that suspect that would conclude essentially some harm was going to be coming to individuals.
A funeral was held in Houston, Texas for 11-year-old Julian Guzman, who was killed last weekend while playing Ding Dong Ditch. He was shot in the back while running away from a house after ringing the doorbell. Members of the community came out to pay their respects.
My deepest condolences. You know, I have children and I feel for them.
Police have charged the 42-year-old male suspect with murder. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill, but those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in, cool as can be. Tap Good RX, saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. The deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check Good RX. Good RX is not insurance.
How are tariffs impacting your wallet?
So far, the impact of tariffs on consumers doing early holiday shopping shows the bark is worse than the bite, according to a survey from Bankrate. But then,
a lot of retailers have been absorbing price hikes. They may not be able to do that forever. Also, a lot of retailers are spending down current inventories.
However, Bankrate's Ted Rossman says many consumers are exhibiting the tariff jitters.
About 4 in 10 holiday shoppers say that they're worried holiday gifts will be more expensive this year.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
Well, many parents have likely felt the agony of stepping on a rogue Lego brick that their kids left on the floor. And now New Zealand mom Gabrielle Wall earned the Guinness World Record running 100 meters across a track of 661 pounds of Legos. And she did it barefoot. Video of the achievement went viral after Guinness posted it on Instagram. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Using that brain power. Wave 105 FM.
Welcome back to the Wave 105.1 FM. We got the Brightside coming up real soon. But of course, with the Brightside, we have to take a look at the roadways, of course. It's time for that real deal traffic. Let me bring that down and bring us up. Big shout outs to our friends over there at... wow, so many different thoughts went through my head. We have Guam Auto Spa. Be sure you check them out today. Of course, they're taking care of you. You can visit them online and see what cars they got in their inventory, as well as schedule your test drive. Big shout outs to our friends over there at Guam Auto Spa. We also want to thank our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Be sure to download the app today. You can receive rewards, again, from our friends over there at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on these roadways. Right now for the 4 o'clock hour, not much congestion. You know, you might be in some traffic, but you're not going to be waiting there too long, thankfully, as it is just a bit early here in this traffic report. But let me point out those places where you might be caught up. In Hagåtña, it seems to be quite a long line of cars headed northbound on Route 1. It seems to start... It starts a little bit before, I'll just call it. It starts at the intersection and goes down past the very popular joint there that people go and eat. The line actually goes pretty far back, so that might be your only hold up here. Otherwise, it's okay on the other side if you're headed southbound. If you're headed towards the intersection where Chalampago and Mangilao meet, you'll have some traffic there as well. There's already a long line of cars at the intersection, and it goes into Chalampago a little bit past the church. And I have to say the same for those who are in Mangilao, headed towards that same intersection. You're on Route 10, headed towards the Chalampago-Mangilao intersection. There's some heavy traffic there, and I think it might be because of the construction that's ongoing, right? They're fixing the roads. You may have to kind of maneuver through the cones, so just slow it down and be aware of that as you make your way to the intersection. Mangilao's looking okay, not too bad there. Barragata's all right. Tamuning is actually surprisingly nice. You can drive on pretty smoothly. One more place we'll call out here, just to make sure I don't miss it. The Dedido area, it's kind of sporadic, I want to say. There's not too much traffic in front of SB, but more in front of the... Is this the... Nope. Yes, the Waiseng Song. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Just a little bit of traffic right in front of that Waiseng Song area. But again, you know, to be expected. And also, please be on the lookout. I believe there should be some kids on the roadways, you know, making their way home. I see them when I'm out there on the road. So just drive safely and slowly and be aware of any school buses that might be out. Don't forget the stop sign means, and lights on mean that you stop, everybody stops on both sides, okay? And one more, because I'm a liar. I didn't even check down south. Iodine. today. Down south, there is traffic in front of the Seti Bay Overlook. This traffic is headed towards the Humatak area. So just drive safely, and continue to keep it locked here. Again, this is your real deal traffic report. It's all being brought to you by our friends over at Guam Auto Spot and Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Continue to keep it locked. On the other side, we have the Brightside.
You got what it takes to win? Tune in every Friday on Wave 105 FM with Patty Arroyo for the Hilton Trivia Challenge. Test your knowledge and you can score dinner for two at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa. It's brought to you by the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa only on Wave 105 FM.
Hafade Guausi Pauly Suba. Don't forget to catch the Brightside every weekday afternoon from 2 to 6 on Wave 105. From big laughs to big issues, if it's happening on island, we're breaking it down with island leaders, business owners, and you. I want to send so much love to our sponsors, Micropack, Local Jerk, GTA, Sherwin-Williams Paint, Chili's, and Subway. Take a break from all of that shade and join the Brightside on Wave 105.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show host, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we got to start the show with thanking some amazing people for bringing you the bright side. Shout out to our friends at Chili's. At Chili's, more life, great food, and great value happen here. We also want to thank our friends at the Code School of Guam. Learn, code, and lead at the Island's first coding boot camp. Your future in tech begins with us at Code School of Guam. We also want to thank our friends over at Micropack. Don't forget to check them out. If you're looking to get some new electronics, perfect. They've got it for you. Be sure you check them out today in the Micronesia Mall. They have 2 locations to serve you there, as well as in Tamuning and Chalin, San Antonio. We also want to thank our friends at Subway. You got to refresh to be fresh. You can eat fresh in just a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience, or you can even get it delivered to you. It's all powered by Good to Go. We deliver. We also want to give a shout outs to our friends over there at Sentinel Security. Now, don't forget to check out our friends at Sentinel Security today. Now, they're taking care of you. They're Guam's premier provider of professional security services, and they're delivering operational excellence in protective services across commercial, industrial, and residential sectors. We also want to thank our friends over there at Sherwin-Williams Paint. Now, don't forget, it is the season and the rain's coming fast. Are you ready? Defend your home with Sherwin-Williams Loxon. It's engineered for Guam's dry to wet season shift. Built tough and made to last. Protect what matters today and ask Sherwin-Williams. Let's go ahead and get started with the bright side.
I ran into this girl the night before. She reminded me of a golden shore. She was nothing like your average girl next door. She liked DVDs, tattoos, and Paramore. She'd say half a mile ago, more good for boy. And I'd say sad dispenser to Gaigi Kulor. And she'd paint colors round the galaxies and more. I ran into this girl the night before.
All right, welcome back. The Bright Side here on Wave 105. Viva Lunes. It's Monday, September 8th. Here's our number, 671-922-1051 or 1052. We're online, thewave105.com, as well as our YouTube channel, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. And so, yeah, we were talking about these lockdowns, right, that have been happening since Wednesday. So Wednesday was Agata Johnston. There was a lockdown there. George Washington High School had its lockdown. On Thursday, Malesu Martyrs Martyrs Memorial Elementary School. That was Friday. And then today, Antolon, right? And so that shelter in place was lifted at 12:52 this afternoon. And so from the Guam Police Department and GDOE. GPD conducted a lengthy investigation after a report was made that a student was seen with a possible firearm at Antolon today. GPD confirmed no possible firearms matching the description of the reported gun that was found, but instead a student was found with a gel blaster toy gun. I'm not familiar with the gel blaster. For the remainder of the week, Antolon Middle School and GPD will continue to monitor the campus. Students will not be allowed to bring bags to school unless they are clear or mesh. They have mesh material for the remainder of the week, which is unfortunate, but I understand safety is paramount, right? And then understanding that, everybody bought brand new bags, new school year, and you might actually have to go buy another bag. But I would say you don't necessarily need to. I wouldn't. If I'm a parent and I'm like, I already bought my kid their school bag, we're just not going to do that. They're going to come in with like a plastic bag, a grocery bag or something. But the release from GDOE today, and it doesn't specifically mention all of these lockdowns, but again, tracking. Agata Johnston had one on Wednesday, GW High School Thursday, Molesu Martyrs Memorial Elementary Friday, and Antolon today. It makes sense that they would put this release out. So they would like to reassure the island community that the safety and well-being of our students and school personnel remain their highest priority. In light of recent events and the implementation of additional precautionary safety protocols, GDOE emphasizes that students, administration, teachers, and staff are safe and continue to be supported in secure learning environments. These protocols are part of our ongoing commitment to protect every member of our school community while ensuring that teaching and learning are not disrupted. GDOE's established safety procedures are regularly reviewed and updated if needed to address emerging concerns, always prioritizing the well-being of our students and employees. As part of our communication commitment, GDOE will continue to provide updates to the community in a timely manner once information has been fully verified, fact-checked, and deemed appropriate for release. This ensures that families receive accurate and reliable information while maintaining the integrity of ongoing safety measures. GDOE extends its gratitude to parents, guardians, and the wider community for their cooperation and trust. And so if you need more information, you can always email their PIO, Damon Michael Borja, at daborja@gdoe.net. daborja@gdoe.net. So again, when you look at the list, right, it is pretty, it's, you're like, wow, every day since last week, Wednesday. Because they're isolated, they're not even connected. These are separate instances, right? Especially when you look at the chats. I would say, what would be the alternative? To not report these, to not go in lockdown when they're considering that that they take these issues seriously. And so when I look at, they are isolated. When I look at what happened in Agata Johnson Middle School, right? Lockdown in pursuit of a subject in the area. It's not the same suspect. It's not the same suspect. GW High School lockdown due to GPD calling in an irate student seen walking around the surrounding area holding a knife. And then lockdown was lifted 12 minutes later, right? And so that was, again, what happened. But they went into lockdown. They get out of it 12 minutes later. And they report it. And they share it with the media. Antolon Middle School today. But then there was another one. And I got that information from GPD. So GPD was the one that shared that there was a lockdown over at the Moleso Martyrs Memorial School when they reported hearing gunshots coming from a Marito elderly house and baseball field area. The school was placed on lockdown. GPD units responded to the scene around 10 a.m. Again, this was on Friday. They discovered the sounds were coming from USDA personnel conducting firearms training qualifications. So you see, it was just a complete, these are all coincidences. They're not connected. They're completely isolated. But this is what they do when they hear gunshots. The right thing to do is to go into lockdown, to shelter in place. And then it gets reported and we share it. But so when people might be saying, what is going on? Well, it's complete coincidences, right? Especially this one, knowing that there was no real, the children at the Moleso Martyrs Memorial School were never in danger, but they did the right thing. They heard gunshots, so they went into what they're trained to do. They went into lockdown. They went into a shelter-in-place policy. They discovered the sounds were coming from USDA personnel as they were conducting their firearms training qualifications at a private ranch up in the mountains, more than 300 yards from the school and any residence. The lockdown was lifted. And so now that we know that this is what is happening, maybe USDA personnel would give them a phone call and say, we're training. So you hear the fire, because still, even let's say they did that. You're still not wrong if they went into lockdown, because maybe that message didn't get passed down to a specific teacher and the teacher hears it, or didn't open up their email. I get it. And so again, we had another one today, right? And so the update from GDOE, even before the show started, they were already out of lockdown, right? So it came in, we got an update at 11:43, and then shelter in place was lifted by 12:52 in the afternoon. They conducted a lengthy investigation after a report was made that a student was seen with the possible firearm. GPD confirmed no possible firearms matching the description of a reported gun. Instead, what is a gel blaster? Let me see if
That's what I was wondering.
Right?
Gel blaster.
I'm going to Google this. What is...
Oh, I don't think... It's like GEL.
Yes.
So it's something that shoots out gel pellets. It
looks like a real gun.
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah.
So it's very I guess geared towards airsoft, except
sure, yeah.
The pellets I think are more gel-like than I think
life-like toy gun.
Wow.
Designed to shoot gel pellets that has been soaked in water.
Mm.
I thought there were because it looks like a real gun. I thought there was laws behind making these looking so realistic.
Right, because even with the Apple emoji, the gun is not an actual gun. It's a water gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's orange markings on this one gel blaster that I'm looking at, but it still looks very realistic. At least make it look like Star Wars.
Yeah, Come on.
Oh man, because I've read horror stories of that, especially in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously my dad is a cop. Mm-hmm. And he has told me stories if you see, that's why they need to put that orange tip in the front of the gun, but even make it even more colorful. How Fortnite has the colorful guns?
Yeah, it's, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But when they're black,
it makes it look like a real gun. It makes it very
realistic, or
right.
Hunting rifles mm-hmm. and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
A police officer pulls up and sees anybody playing with one of these toy guns, they're going to react in a way that is very unfortunate.
Right.
Yeah.
It's true.
Okay, so 4:26 in the afternoon. Before we get to this break, it looks like let me the office of the governor sent out some releases, but I haven't really looked at it. I'll just give you the headlines, and then when we get into the break, I'll read it more thoroughly. But they're basically stating that they're dissatisfied with an MDA record of decision on the Enhanced Integrated Air and Missile Defense System. Okay, so I have been tracking this, the missile defense system, right? Let me just read this now, since now I'm even really intrigued. So I'm going to just read this in real time. I've just opened it up. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Josh Tenorio issued the following statement in response to a letter from Lieutenant General Heath Collins, who is the director of the Missile Defense Agency, outlining MDA's final action regarding the missile defense system for Guam and the release of the record of decision. The final environmental impact statement evaluates the potential impacts of constructing and operating the missile defense system in Guam. This system is intended to strengthen the island's ability to defend against evolving regional threats. The record of decision is the U.S. Department of Defense, formerly known as, now they're the Department of War, and MDA's official conclusion of the EIS process. It identifies the selected alternative for the project, explains the reasoning behind the decision, and addresses considerations such as land use, environmental protection, cultural resources, and community feedback. And so this is a quote from our governor. We appreciate MDA's continued engagement with our administration and their acknowledgement of our concerns. We are taking the MDA's record of decision very seriously. That said, I am not satisfied that the cumulative impacts that we have identified and provided to MDA during the EIS commenting period have been addressed. As governor of Guam, I disagree with the decision not to convene the Economic Adjustment Committee at this time. This committee convenes 22 federal agencies to coordinate a whole of government response to the local economic and infrastructure impacts of DoD's actions, ensuring that communities like Guam are not left to shoulder the burden of national defense missions alone. Guam's security and the safety of our people remain our highest priorities, and we are committed to ensuring that this project also reflects the well-being of our island community. Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio said in this release, Guam's partnership with the Department of Defense must always be grounded in respect for our communities, cultural resources, and environmental stewardship. We welcome MDA's stated adherence to the 2008 Programmatic Agreement, its intent to work closely with the Guam State Historic Preservation Office and Joint Region Marianas in its support for leveraging federal authorities to strengthen our regulatory capacity. However, DOD or DOW, I don't know what they are now, must also address the cumulative impact that all planned military programs will have on our island, and not just the Guam Missile Defense Program exclusively. This can be best addressed through the convening of the EAC. And so it looks like they're not going to be convening this Economic Adjustment Committee. There's more to it, too. So it looks like Crystal Pacos and Augustine, the director, sent us the record of decision. So that's something that I need to also unpack. This is 9 pages long. So by reading this, I'll better understand the letter that I just read to from the governor and lieutenant governor as to their frustration or, again, what they're stating, dissatisfied with the MDA record of decision. So that's something that I got to read to better understand why they're dissatisfied, because they give more details in this 9 pages. So we'll see if I can, I'm basically just going to pull probably the summary of what the MDA is saying on this. So we'll take the break, 4:31 in the afternoon, Wave 105.
All right, here we go, friends. We're going to go ahead and take another look at your real deal traffic report here on the show. I'll go ahead and get started in just a bitty. But of course, big shout outs going out to our friends making it possible, our friends over there at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Don't forget, at Mobile Oil Guam, you can download the app. It's free and you can earn rewards today. Big shout outs to our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. We also want to thank our friends over there at Guam Auto Spot. You can check them out, our friends at Guam Auto Spot. They're also taking care of you and making sure that you are good to go. We're talking about when it comes to getting into a new vehicle, you can schedule your test drive online at GuamAutospot.com today. Alrighty, here we go. We're taking a look at what's going on out there in the roadways. And right now, taking a look at traffic here in Central. I know what you're thinking, Reese. Central is a whole lot of villages. I know, I make the mistake of saying that all the time. But I'll start where I'm from, the beautiful village of Talampago. There is a little traffic here in Talampago, but it's really more for those who are at that Manila and Talampago intersection. That traffic still stands, and like I said, they are doing construction in that area, so you can expect traffic to build up there. Here in the village of Otdut, there's also traffic here at the Otdut intersection in front of the market, right? You got traffic for those who are headed into like Sinahanya, or you're going to make your way to Sinahanya, as well as those who are coming up the hill from Aflami and headed to Otdut. So just be on the lookout for that if you're trying to get out of Sinahanya. Hagåtña, the traffic, it's actually gotten a lot better from the last time we reported. Remember, it was a long line of cars, but that seemed to ease up a little bit. But still expect traffic at that Hagåtña Chief Kapua Loop intersection. Alrighty, taking a look at what's going on in Tamuning. It's kind of sporadic, the traffic, I want to say. It's not too long of a line of cars unless you are making your way southbound on Route 1 and you're headed towards the ITC intersection. And that goes even for the opposite lane, but it's really not too bad. Like, the line is not too long. I'm pretty sure you just need to wait for the light to turn green and for everyone to make their moves. But make it slowly, okay? Go the speed limit now. Let's see, that JFK intersection is not too bad as well. Thankfully, I think we can expect that to build up as we get closer to the 5 o'clock hour. Otherwise, everything is looking A-okay. One more, I'll throw it out there. If you're headed towards the Paris Acres area, you're still on the main road, okay? You're not taking turns anywhere, but if you're on the main road, right, Route 1, still headed northbound, you're about to approach the Paris Acres area, there is just a little bit of traffic there. I don't even know what's going on, but just keep an eye out for that. Otherwise, everything else is looking A-okay. If you see anything out there, let us know, 922-1051 on our WhatsApp, and we'll be sure to shout that out. Again, a big shout outs to our friends over there at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here, and our friends over there at Guam Auto Spot. Don't go anywhere. We'll have a look at some headlines. It's all coming up.
Pauly, Suba. Don't forget to catch the Brightside every weekday afternoon from 2 to 6 on Wave 105. From big laughs to big issues, if it's happening on island, we're breaking it down with island leaders, business owners, and you. I want to send so much love to our sponsors, Micropack, Local Jerk, GTA, Sherwin-Williams Paint, Chili's, and Subway. Take a break from all of that shade and join the Brightside on Wave 105.
Hafaday Guam, engage in a conversation made for the veterans of Guam with Johnny and Miss Bobby. We want to hear concerns and comments. Tune in every Wednesday for our new time, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Wave 105, the Talk of Guam.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a look at those headlines now, friends, and it's all being brought to you by McDonald's of Guam. Don't forget, the fall flavors are here. You can get yourself a delicious pumpkin and cream pie. You can get yourself the pumpkin spice latte and so much more. Indulge into fall flavors only at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Here's your headlines.
CBS News Brief. President Trump defending sending National Guard troops into other cities after posting on social media, quote, Chicago's about to find out why it's called the Department of War.
We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
President says Israel's accepted a new peace proposal, and he's given a last warning to Hamas. Former Assistant Secretary of Defense Larry Korb.
If Hamas doesn't agree to it, I think then Trump will continue to provide support to Israel. In fact, may even increase it.
Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum's following the case of Michael Pratt, the owner of an adult website, who will be sentenced for sex trafficking on Monday.
He not only deluded young girls into thinking they were being paid to be clothed models, but they were also told that whatever skin they showed would never make it onto the internet.
CBS News Brief. I'm Stacey Lynn.
Half a day at Wave 105 FM. We want to talk. We want to talk about the things that are important to our island and our community, and we want to talk with you. If you want to join the conversation, if you want to chime in, we welcome it. We welcome all points of view, all thoughts, all perspectives. Call or WhatsApp us at 671-922-1051. If that line is busy, then call us at 922-1052. This is Talk for Everyone. Thanks for listening to Wave 105 FM, the talk of Guam.
Think you've got what it takes to win? Tune in every Friday on Wave 105 FM with Patty Arroyo for the Hilton Trivia Challenge. Test your knowledge and you can score dinner for two at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa. It's brought to you by the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa only on Wave 105 FM. Time is running out to join us for the first ever Run for Wishes. It's all going down Saturday, September 13th at the Leo Palace Resort. There's still a chance to register or volunteer and be a part of something truly special. Every step, every smile helps bring hope and makes dreams come true for children in Guam and the CNMI. Don't miss this moment. Make a weekend out of it by booking our Run Weekend Stay Special. Visit Leo Palace's Facebook and Instagram today for more information. And we'll see you at the Run for Wishes at the Leo Palace Resort.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
Back to Brightside here on Wave 105. My name is Pauly, Suba, hanging out with Reese here on the Talk of Guam, 671-922-1051 or 1052. We're online to wave105.com as well as our YouTube channel, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. So I'm in receipt of the record of decision for the Enhanced Integrated Air and Missile Defense System in Guam Environmental Impact Statement, right? It's about 9 pages. The Office of the Governor sent it to media. So able to just look at the summary here. And so they've decided to build and operate the 360-degree missile defense system. It's going to sit across 16 sites on DoD land. This is information that we know, but for those that are, I'm just going to give you some of the details that are in this record of decision. Start site prep late 2025, build out over roughly 10 years, and bring about 2,300 permanent personnel and families starting in 2031. The project has significant environmental and community impacts. It acknowledges this, especially loss of limestone forests, impacts to protected species, housing pressure, healthcare demand, traffic and airspace changes, paired with mitigation plans and ongoing agency coordination. They, however, chose the proposed action to build, operate over no action, provide a persistent layered 360-degree defense against advanced cruise, ballistic, and hypersonic missiles. And so it says here, this action will enable MDA and USA to meet their congressional mandate for a persistent 360-degree layered integrated air and missile defense capability in Guam to address the rapid evolution of missile threats from regional adversaries. Specifically, this record of decision documents the decision made, alternatives considered, and discussions of all related and anticipated impacts. In addition to the USA, U.S. Air Force, Navy, and FAA, they're participating as cooperating agencies due to their jurisdiction or special expertise as it pertains to certain components of the selected alternative or for potentially affected operations and resources. The ROD, or Record of Decision, details significant environmental impacts, outlines mitigation measures, and identifies environmentally preferred alternatives. And so it talks about what will be built. It talks about environmental and community impacts, limestone forest removal across 9 sites, major long-term significant impacts, even with mitigation. Ran Guiza? So it's Ran. Yeah. Half a day, Ran. The OG himself.
Hey, brother me.
Half a day.
Hey, I tell you what, doing the Sat 9 and Sat 10 tests,
yes,
that we had to do regularly, Smoojow, we always look for best practices.
Right.
And we found there was a superintendent in education district in Connecticut. And this guy had the highest scores in his arena there, right? Mm-hmm. And his trick was peppermint candy. He had peppermint candy for all of the students in his district. And when you eat peppermint, it like your head just opens up. Your mind just goes bing.
Really?
And yeah, so we went out and went to Payless and got all the little red and white circle peppermint candies, and we had baskets of it, for all our students who are taking the Sat 9 and Sat 10, right?
Okay.
And they did real well, and the amazing thing, we didn't have any Mickey Mouse, like on the drawings on the bubble sheets or anything like that. Everybody was focused. Everybody was taking the test.
Nice.
And so when you guys were talking about that, you were talking about your mindset. What's the mindset?
Right.
Well, peppermint candy makes the correct mindset for these tests. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Best practices.
Right.
We always look for best practice. What's the best? Like Connecticut also. And we fought for a long time. December 31st used to be our cutoff date for our kindergarten here. So we were having really young kids, coming into kindergarten. And so we went, well, best practice. What's the best practice? And we found out in Connecticut, again, back to Connecticut, because these guys are number one, you have to be 5 years old by January 1st of the school year that you're going to start.
Okay.
So those kids starting in August were over 5.5 years old.
Right.
So, and that maturation, that chronological maturation, makes a complete difference in your maturity of your education. 6 months, 7 months is unbelievable amount of difference.
Rather than 5 years by the start of the school year.
Yeah, you had to be 5 on January 1st of the school year you were going to start.
Because what happens sometimes is they turn 5 in July, which they're only days.
So they'd have to go around all the way around. Like, see, for us, it's August 1st or July 31st.
Right.
Is our cutoff. Before it was December 31st. We fought hard to change that, and we got it changed about to July 31st instead of December 31st. So now the kids are older, 6 months at least, and they have that maturation, right? But look at Connecticut, man. January 1st, you have to be 5 by.
Right.
Yeah. No, tremendous difference. And so that's what I always recommend for any of these kind of activities that go on. What's the best practice? Mm-hmm. Who has the highest scores? Who's doing the best? And that seems to be, well communicated.
Well, yeah,
right?
and so anything, but most especially when we're talking about teaching our children, right, that it's important not to work in silos. So absolutely communicate and network with all of these other institutions across the world to see what are the best practices.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the key to the ball game. And if you have somebody on the board or somebody who's within the agency who searches these things out,
right.
There you go, and model them. I mean, if that's the best practice. Imitate it. Right. Why
It doesn't have to be
those guys, what they went through to get that information.
I agree. And it doesn't have to, it shouldn't be cookie cutter, but still ask questions. How is it working for you? And then
well, you find the top rating school, who gets the highest scores.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, our kids are super smart.
And hopefully, when you talk to them, they're not gatekeeping the information, right?
Yeah, right. It's just whatever. All kids are pretty much the same across the board. It's just what type of environment are they in when they're taking these tests, and what's their motivation, and, and how much peppermint candy are they eating?
For sure. Yeah. I got a question because there's we're still talking about the budget, right? And is the argument is GDOE, are they getting the funding that is appropriate to provide best practice education, right, into the public school system and the charter schools? So my question is, at the budget hearing, they were contemplating if they have to cut, they might cut not trying to get accreditation for elementary and middle schools, and only focusing on accreditation for the high schools, because obviously they need our high schools to be accredited so that they can get into colleges. And so you are somebody that I consider an expert. What are the pros and cons of going for or not going for accreditation in middle school and elementary?
Yeah, well, big feather in the cap to John Fernandez. That his whole thing. I think we're the only district that has everybody accredited, including the district office. The Central is accredited.
I didn't realize how much it costs, though, to get
accredited. Oh, no. I mean, for us, a full study, you're talking 10, 12,000, and that's only like maybe 2 or 3 people. You got to put them in a hotel. Yeah. You got to pay for their airlines. You got to pay for their food. You got to pay for their transportation, and in all of that, we're happy, of course, to share these individuals with the Department of Education. But it is very, very it's very, very important to be accredited by a federally registered accreditation agency. That's very, very important.
Not just for high schools.
Well, I tell you, middle schools, I would say, oftentimes elementary folks would say, why are we doing it? But what happens is you have focus groups and you have home groups. Home groups are like all the kindergarten teachers. Focus groups are kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. And all these people meet and they get together. And in itself is a big plus. Anytime you bring a group of people together for a common goal and a common good, it's important. So if we can afford it, I'd say do it because of that. Because of that, if nothing else, that you're bringing everybody together. In the aspect of where you're challenged financially, then it's a fiduciary thing. Then first, I would say elementary, never mind. Try to do middle school if at all possible to hold those folks, feet to the fire kind of a thing. And then, of course, like you said, high schools, because the WASC accreditation, you can go to any college in the world if you're coming from an accredited institution.
Right.
That's WASC accredited, and we'll get students, or even the government of Guam will get people who will come in and apply for a job, and they'll think they have a high school diploma, and they do it, and the government of Guam says, "Oh, I'm sorry, this is not a federally recognized accreditation here. You don't have anything."
Understood.
Really, and so we try to work with people, if they have the work that they did or whatever, we try to work with them and see what it is that we can do to help them. But the WASC accreditation is first and foremost to make the educational system work. So I would say, if anything, start with elementary maybe, And then, if in fact, but if you can do what Johnson, like I said, I think we're the only district in California, Arizona, the WASC people that all of us are accredited: elementary, middle school, high school, plus Central.
Right.
Hello, that's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
But a feather in the cap, because you're holding everybody accountable to a standard that is not often recognized, by individuals not really seeing the meaningfulness of it, right? We think, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? But no, it's a very powerful message, and then you have that. Everybody's together. Everybody's working together in these elementary schools, and that's what WASC's whole about. I was lucky enough to go up to Rhoda to be on a WASC team. I was lucky enough to go to Saipan, Mariana's high school, and be on the WASC team. Saipan International School, I was on the accreditation team there. And there's a whole language. It's called WASCese. It's a language. You can sit down at a meeting and use the WASCese language in there. You can get everybody to say everything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing. It really is. But it's really, you have to leave with an exit report. So like the 3 or 4 days or however long, if it's a full study or even a 1 day, there's an exit report that has to be.
Right. I was part of that exit report as a parent. They asked me questions.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And getting the parents together, getting sponsors, if there's businesses and things that want to get involved, all those things are all big time plus activities. What kind of community activities are going on? It really brings people together. And I'm all for the accreditation process. That's something that is just feather in the cap, big time. But fiduciary kind of a thing. If anything, you'd probably start with your elementaries, but if you can keep some of the higher, the bigger schools, the smaller schools, maybe not, they're probably already working pretty close together, but, the bigger schools that have the biggest populations, and even in the elementaries, that'd be an important thing. And then the kids realize how important it is, too.
The concern that I might have is if we have an elementary, if they say, okay, well, we have to make some cuts. And so first thing we're going to do is we're not going to proceed with the accreditation for elementary or middle. What happens when a student leaves middle school and because their family is deciding to make a life for themselves in, I don't know, Idaho, right? And so the elementary is not accredited.
Like I said, I think Guam is unique. I think we're the only ones that got it all. Did everybody.
So they would still take the transcript of school
here. Of course they'll take everything, but
not accredited.
It's the high schools.
Yeah.
Getting that high school credit, right? I mean, our middle school is social promotion, which is a horrible thing. Social promotion, if the kids realize they can make straight Fs and they're still going to go to the 9th grade, their whole message is we don't care. And if we don't care, the kid's not going to care.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to hold people, accountable for their learning. Focus on learning is what WASC is all about. Does learning occur? That's what we have to prove in our presentation to the WASC. Marilyn George, she's one of the executive directors in this thing. These people are very clear. It's called focus on learning, and you have to be able to see that learning's occurring within the institution. And the interesting thing too, Pauly, it doesn't really mean to what degree or the level of the education, but is learning occurring. You see what I mean?
Yep.
It couldn't. I mean, a consumer math as opposed to a high trig math. Did learning occur at the consumer? Holds the same weight as a trig, because learning occurred. Period. That's what you're searching for when you're dealing with these folks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
it's great, and you bring people from the States, right? And I tell you, this was an interesting thing. George Washington High School. My son was going there. I was the parent, so I'm super involved.
Okay.
Miss Bennett, the great Miss Bennett,
Oh, wow,
principal. She was running the school.
Right.
And we were interacting and stuff. And they made their exit report.
Okay.
And when they made their exit report, they were real clear. At that time, they could give 3 years. And, now I think it's just 6 years, but they could do 3 years.
Okay.
And they said that they were anticipating giving GW only 3 years accreditation, but because of the respect that they got from the students that they don't see anywhere. They don't
Wow.
see anywhere the degree of the respect that they got from the students at GW.
Right.
They're giving GW 6 years. That, to me, was one of the most powerful messages ever, and the whole ball game is omning. When they walked in the room, the guys got up, they put chairs out for them, they got everything. It was just spontaneous. Nobody had to tell anybody, nobody had to say, hey, boys, what's the matter with you? How come you're not getting chairs? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just spontaneous. They just did it because of who they are, the strong young folks here in the Marianas. And very powerful. Very powerful. And so, you see that. They don't see that anywhere. FEMA people don't see it anywhere. When people come here and they interact with the hospitality that goes on within the Marianas, it just blows them away. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Big pluses.
Thank you, OG. I appreciate this.
Hey, hopefully we'll see you Friday.
Yes,
Hometown. We'll do that
I will
arm
be here.
wrestling contest.
We will. Yes, we will. Guides.
Okay, Pauly. Thank you,
Okay.
sir. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you more.
Okay.
Uncle Moss.
Absolutely.
There you go. The OG, Rand Kaufman. Yeah. Appreciate his insight and his expertise on the issue. Because, I was part of, when my kids were going to Carbolito, they had asked for volunteers to be part of the accreditation process. And I was kind of nervous, too, because they said, okay, so the team, they're going to ask you questions and just be honest.
I hate when they say that. Just be honest, because I'm like,
but does it depend? What I say, does that depend on our
Yeah, right?
accreditation? I don't want to be the reason.
get me out of here! I don't belong here.
But the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because again, it's on the table, right? It's on the chopping block. I understand the importance of going through that process, and like he said, it's a feather in the cap, right? It shows that there is learning happening here, and so when during the budget discussions, when they were having those discussions, and they brought the GDOE leadership, and one of the first things out of Superintendent Eric Swanson's mouth was, "This budget is disastrous to GDOE." And as they continue to have those discussions, they said, well, eventually they're saying these are the things that we'll probably have to cut if this is status quo. If we don't get any more than what is being discussed now, pursuing accreditation for elementary and middle school is on the chopping block. Of course, the importance of making sure that we get our high schools accredited is exactly what Rand was talking about. That they need that with this WASC accreditation, you can get into any college, right? Your high school diploma for the schools here allows doors to open at any of the colleges in the continental U.S., right? And that is extremely important. And then obviously, like he mentioned, DOA, when you turn in your high school diploma, is it accredited? Does that count? So that's the importance of it. 5 o'clock on the dot. We still haven't even. I'm probably not going to use this. I can always save it for tomorrow. I think 2 public hearings happen. I think we'll discuss at least Bill 159. So basically, it overrides any conflicting parking rules when it comes to homeless shelters. And so we've got updates on 2 of the homeless shelters, right? So there's a bed at night shelter that is that could be opening up very soon in the Tamuning area off Iriarte Street. They said it was behind the Hoffaday Theaters in Tamuning. And then I reached out to the director, Robson Augustine, because I know that there is a homeless shelter that they purchased the apartment building in Antigua for a homeless shelter. And it really wasn't brought up at the public hearing, so I got an update from the division chief of the Division of Homelessness and Poverty Prevention, Robson Augustine, and he confirmed, yes, the Antigua shelter should be opening soon because occupancy was given on July 1st, and they are waiting for payment to the contractor. And once they pay the contractor, they'll be able to get the keys for this homeless shelter in Antigua, which is very good news. So we may not get to Bill 175, but I think we'll tackle Bill 159 after these. KGUM FM, Indebted O Guam.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Stacey Lynn. Opposition is mounting in Chicago over President Trump's repeated threats to send National Guard troops and immigration agents to the city. And CBS's Nicole Killian says there are more concerns because of a social media post.
The president was asked Sunday about that meme that seemed to suggest going to war against the city of Chicago. He told reporters that we are not going to war. He simply wants to try to clean up some of these cities.
Cities including D.C., which he says is a crime-free zone now. ICE has also launched an immigration crackdown in Massachusetts. Patriot 2.0 targets what they say are the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens living in the state. To the war in the Middle East now, the president says he's issued a last warning to Hamas to accept a deal to release hostages in Gaza.
We're trying to get it ended, get the hostages back, get it ended. We got them all back, but 20. And as you know, we have 20, plus there are a lot of, unfortunately, dead bodies involved. And they want them back. The parents want them back.
He also said he's not happy that Russia launched its largest air attack on Ukraine since that war began. The BBC's Sarah Rainsford is in Kyiv, where the strike hit important buildings in the city center.
I think it was quite shocking to see that a government building had been hit. It's not clear whether this was targeted deliberately or whether the drone was heading somewhere else and hit the building. That's not 100% clear, although from the footage that our cameraman Francesco filmed from where we were, it did look like a drone heading straight into the building, and then we saw the explosion.
At the Vatican, tens of thousands came to an open-air mass to see Pope Leo canonize two young men.
We declare and define Blessed Pier Giorgio Fossati and Carlo Acutis to be saints, and we enroll them among the saints, decreeing that they are to be venerated as such by the whole Church.
Fossati died of polio in 1925. Acutis died in 2006 of leukemia. Spain's Carlos Alcaraz beat Italy's Yannick Sinner to win the U.S. Open and reclaim the #1 ranking. During the trophy ceremony on ESPN, he joked about how much time the two tennis greats have spent together.
I'm seeing you more than my family, so it's Jesus.
At 22 years old, Alcaraz is the second youngest to win 6 major titles. The final, by the way, was delayed by a half hour because of all the extra security measures put in place because President Trump was there. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Get renter's insurance to protect the things that make your place a home, including coverage for theft or damage. Visit Progressive.com.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Experts say $30 billion will be legally bet on NFL games this season.
The Detroit Lions are getting the most action to win the Super Bowl, followed by the defending champion Eagles.
A bet on a game makes you virtually interested in any game, and you feel the same passion, the same excitement over big plays. So it's just really what makes sports great is having a rooting interest.
Jason Robbins is CEO of one of the largest betting sites, DraftKings.
We have somewhere between 50 and 100 people working on responsible gaming. We have a whole team of people that reviews. We have actually using AI to analyze and review customer communications and look for things to flag.
Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Just months after President Trump took over as board chair at the Kennedy Center and appointed new leadership, the growing pains are evident. The Washingtonian magazine analyzed ticket sales for next month's performance by a prestigious German ballet company and found it was only booked so far at less than 20% capacity. Stacey Lynn, CBS News.
Begin. We are Guam. Wave 105 FM.
Workouts you can follow. This is Soundbites, and I'm Alan Davidson. Most workout apps assume you're a gym rat, but maybe you're not a feel the burn, reps till you drop fitness fanatic. Maybe you're just a regular old person who wants to feel better and exercise better. In that case, Fit4 might be perfect. It's a personalized workout and nutrition app for you. That's the actual you, not some generic idealized person. Tell it your current fitness level and food habits, then set your fitness goals. Fit4 will then create a custom workout and nutrition plan, ready to get you moving and keep you motivated. If you're a beginner, it's a great way to get started. And if you've already been working out for years, there can be a new workout groove. It's ready to adapt for you. That's Fit4 at fitfor.app. With Soundbites, I'm Alan Davidson for CBS News.
Many companies are moving slow on AI. Thank goodness many employees are moving fast. I'm Jeff Colvin of Fortune magazine with the Fortune Business Update. Lots of companies have invested money on AI, but in a recent survey from MIT, 95% of them say their corporate investment has so far not improved their profit at all. Zero. Fortunately for those companies, however, their employees are moving ahead on their own, and they're not telling their employers about it. They're just using their own personal accounts with ChatGPT or other AI providers, and that is almost certainly improving productivity. As employees become more familiar with personal AI tools that suit their needs, they become less tolerant of their employers' slow-moving official AI projects. It's a striking difference from new technologies of the past, which employees mostly hated. Now they're leading the way. I'm Jeff Colvin.
Begin. We are Guam. Wave 105 FM.
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to the Brightside here on Wave 105.1 FM. Of course, we got to start off this hour with some traffic because, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rush Hour Traffic. Here we go in the 5 o'clock hour. We definitely can expect everybody to be leaving work. Well, almost everybody. Me and Pauly are still here. But we're okay with that. We're here to make sure that you know what's happening out there in the roadways and that you get home safely. I'm actually kind of surprised. I had to refresh just in case, but it's looking pretty okay out there. Not too bad, but you know what? This is the time when everyone's kind of packing their stuff and getting ready to go. So I'm sure by the time we hit our next traffic break, you'll be in a bunch of traffic. But let's just call it out where we see it. We're starting into Munning. If anyone is headed towards the intersection, the ITC intersection, you could definitely expect some traffic on both sides of the lane heading north or south bound. And then we do got traffic here in Munning, small kind, and this is at the intersection where Epal Road is. And then even at the intersection where the two gas stations are, or maybe more familiar, Airport Road, is that that intersection is definitely busy for those who are headed towards that way, or maybe you're coming out of Airport Road to jump onto the main road. Lots of traffic there, so just be on the lookout. Even so, here at the JFK intersection, as you continue forward, friends, if you're coming out from Tumon, you're headed up the hill to the intersection, you can expect some traffic. And even when you're coming from the Ipao Road intersection, right, you're making your way northbound, so do expect that traffic there. Let's check out the upper Tumon area. Yes, indeed. Here it is. If you're looking for traffic, and I'm sure you're not, but maybe you're already in it, there's definitely some traffic here right in front of the mall intersection in Dedido on North Marine Corps Drive. For those who are coming from the Pauly San Vitores intersection, right, that's the road that leads down into Tumon, the hill. There is traffic headed north, though. So if you're trying to get to that mall intersection, it might be just a minute, okay? So please take your time and don't get angry. We're all in this traffic together. Nobody asked for this. Nobody said, I want the traffic, okay? So be nice, and we're all going to get home to where we need to so soon. Again, that's your Real Deal Traffic Report. It's being brought to you by our friends over at Guam Auto Spa. Visit them today and schedule your test drive. You can also see what vehicles they have on the lot for you. Big shout outs to Guam Auto Spa, as well as our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Don't forget to download their app today. You can receive rewards. We're talking about good rewards here, like some gas. Thank you, God. Big shout outs to our friends at Mobile Oil Guam. Energy lives here. Once again, we got the Brightside with Pauly Suba. It's all coming up, so don't go anywhere, friends, and continue to keep it locked here. This is The Wave 105.1 FM.
At Wave 105 FM, we're more than just a station. We're your platform, your voice, your conversation. We're talking about what matters most to you today and in our future. And we want you to be part of it. Got something to say? We're listening. Different opinions? Bring them on. Let's talk, let's debate, let's connect, because every voice counts. Call or WhatsApp us at 671-922-1051. And if that line's busy, hit us up at 922-1052. This is Talk Radio for everyone. This is the Talk of Guam.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome everybody to the Brightside. We got to thank our sponsors here. Big shout outs to our friends at Chili's. At Chili's, more life, great food, and great value happen here. Shout outs to our friends at the Code School of Guam. Learn, code, and lead at the island's first coding boot camp. Your future in tech begins with us at Code School of Guam. We also want to give a thank you to our friends over there at GTA. We start with you. Big shout outs to our friends over at Micropack. Don't forget to check them out at their 2 locations, or should I say 3, because they got 2 in the Micronesia Mall, and then they have their 1 off of Challenge San Antonio in Tamuning. So be sure you go and check them out if you're trying to get some new electronics, or you're just trying to get the speaker that hits the bass great. That's over there, Micropack. Also, a shout out to our friends at Sentinel Security Solutions. That's right, they're bringing you the show as well. Guam's premier provider of professional security services. They're delivering operational excellence in protective services across commercial, industrial, and residential sectors. We also want to thank our friends at Subway. You got to refresh to be fresh. Eat fresh in a few clicks. Order online at subwaypacific.com for pickup at your convenience or for delivery right at your doorstep. It's all powered by Good to Go. We deliver. And of course, our friends over at Sherwin-Williams Paint. The wet season is on its way. It's actually here, I would say, and your roof needs to be ready. So don't wait for the blazing hot sun or that pounding rain. Get ahead of the weather. Ready coatings. Be smart, be prepared, and ask Sherwin-Williams. All right, big shout outs to all our sponsors. Once again, everybody, you're tuned into the Brightside here on Wave 105.1 FM.
I ran into this girl the night before. She reminded me of a golden shore. She was nothing like your average girl next door. She liked DVDs, tattoos, and Paramore. She'd say half a mile ago, more por favor. And I'd say sad dispenser to Geigy color. And she'd paint colors round the galaxies and more. I ran into this girl the night before.
All right, welcome back to Brightside here on Wave 105. Viva Lunes. It's Monday, September 8th, 671-922-1051. If you still have a laptop open, you can check us out at the wave105.com or our YouTube channel, Wave 105.1 FM Guam. Otherwise, like Reese was mentioning, you might be trying to survive that all of that traffic, right? And so we appreciate you tuned in with us. And again, I haven't even touched on Bill 159. Two public hearings took place this morning, right? So Bill 159 is Vice Speaker Tony Atta's bill, introduced by, there's quite a few people on this bill too. It gives DPW flexible case-by-case authority to right-size parking minimums. The only concern that I had was if it gives DPW these leeway or flexibility, they weren't there though. Director of Public Health, who knows the director of DPW very well, was there, Teresa Areola, and then also the Deputy Director of GURA, Fernando Esteves, the Division Chief of the Division of Homelessness and Poverty Prevention, Robson Augustine, as well, Joe Borja, the Director of the Guam Department of Land Management. He was there too, right? Basically in favor of the bill. And so again, real quick, just summarizing, it keeps ADA stalls intact. Agencies working on homelessness say this will remove a real practical barrier to open shelters quickly and efficiently. Again, it doesn't look like it is controversial. It needed to be introduced because there are a couple homeless shelters, but I think specifically they're focused on that homeless shelter in Tamuning. So the way it was Senator Tello Tadagui that asked exactly where is this homeless shelter. So Robson Augustine, he had said it's across AK, but obviously you'd have to go behind where the Hoffaday theaters are, and there's like apartment complex, and it looks like they have purchased this facility that's back there. It's basically like a shell. And so I'm assuming that they don't have a lot of parking stall space, but obviously they want to open this homeless shelter for obvious reasons. There's a need for it. And so what we'll do is we'll play an audio file from the Deputy Director, Fernando Esteves, kind of sharing what he's seeing. I mean, they oversee housing and stating the importance of these homeless shelters, but then also the importance of this bill that needs to go through, so that way they're not held to the policy of having a certain amount of parking stalls in order to open. And so just watching and listening, it makes sense why they would be that the amount of parking stalls should not be the barrier to keeping these shelters open. They're homeless. They don't even have a vehicle, most likely. So most of the time they'd be walking there. And so the people that are going to be in this facility aren't necessarily using a vehicle. And so again, to better understand it, here's Fernando Esteves, and then right after is Teresa Areola, the Director of Public Health.
On behalf of the Guam Housing and Urban Renewal Authority, GURA, we submit our written and oral testimony in support of Bill 159-38 COR. It's no secret that incidences of homelessness have increased, stemming from a variety of factors. Homeless shelters provide opportunities to better coordinate resources, opportunities, and direct services to the most disadvantaged in our community. The effectiveness of these shelters relies heavily on strategic placement, scaling in both size and services, with an ability to be tailored based on available resources and need. The housing crisis is volatile. Movers on the front line of this work need to be agile. By allowing the Department of Public Works the necessary discretion, working with developers and service providers on a case-by-case basis will accomplish this. When parking standards were established many years ago, we couldn't envision as an island such a need at such a scale. This is one of the many positive steps needed to address our island's ongoing housing crisis, and hopefully it's not the last. Thank you. Subject to your questions.
All right, so short and sweet, right? And so now here is the Director of Public Health, Teresa Areola. No worries. We're just trying to get over to the next audio file. Again, Fernando Esteves, again, it sounds like a no-brainer, but obviously there's policy in place. There's law that could be keeping the shelter from opening, and one of it is the amount of public stalls, right? Parking stalls. And so, again, it gives DPW discretion. Giving DPW discretion is one of several steps needed for the shelter to open up, and it addresses our housing crisis, according to the Deputy Director, Fernando Esteves. And so now here's Areola.
Thank you. This is testimony in support of Bill 159-38, authored by yourself. Hafaday, Chairman Atta, members of the 38th Guam Legislature, my name is Teresa Areola, the Director of Public Health and Social Services. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony in support of Bill 159-38, an act to add a new paragraph O to subsection 61531 of Chapter 61, Title 21, Guam Code annotated relative to granting the Department of Public Works to determine the minimum number of parking spaces required for homeless shelters. This legislation is proposed to allow DPW to address the parking requirements on a case-by-case basis for operations such as shelters for the unhoused. Chapter 61 of Title 21 makes considerations for places of business where parking is meant to accommodate customers and clientele who frequent a business where flow-through traffic must be accommodated with adequate spaces. In the case of the homeless shelter being operated for street homeless individuals needing safe haven on a nightly basis, the majority of this population will not own or operate vehicles. The users of the homeless shelter are expected to walk to the shelter, check in, then again leave on foot once the sheltering has been completed every morning. The priority for the shelter will be street homeless, individuals who are sleeping, camping in public or privately owned spaces without express authorization to be there by the property owner. In these cases, the homeless shelter will be the Government of Guam's supplied option for street homeless individuals to receive shelter for the night and be offered services to address their circumstances. Individuals will either travel by foot to the facility or be transported, if available, and dropped to the shelter facility. A similar example would be the Ministry to the Homeless Soup Kitchen in Hagåtña, formerly known as Kamalin Karadat. They operate feeding on a daily basis, and their clients are walk-up individuals who receive food and disperse once received. There are no required minimum parking spaces based on the building's function, size, or consumer traffic, while performing its services or operations. Therefore, it is requested that a variance be considered or provisions be made for the operation of a facility which does not anticipate significant automobile traffic, flow-through or extended parking to carry out its intended sheltering operations. The building would otherwise be compliant with parking space requirements for staff and persons with disability. I highly encourage the committee to support this legislation. I strongly believe this addition to Chapter 61, Title 21, will address the absence of guidance for a bed-of-night homeless sheltering. This will be an important step forward in Guam's response to homelessness by offering dignity and compassion for our most vulnerable, while also advocating for the health and safety of the general public in the villages. Signed, Amasi, Therese Areola, signed by myself. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, for introducing this bill. As you know, as stated in our budget hearing that happened a couple months ago, I think, during the summer, we shared with the committee then and to the entire legislature the department's plans with the newly established Division of Homelessness and Poverty Prevention. And Mr. San Augustine, of course, is the chief of that division. So I thank you so much for your efforts and for your support. Thank you, committee.
Again, to my colleagues.
There you go. So when I'm listening to both the director, Areola, and San Augustine, it reminds me of the Dignity Project, Attorney General Doug Moylan, and Senator Tello Tadegui brings it up too. I would say that we could use 2 bed-at-night facilities. We could use the one that it looks like they're very close to opening up behind Hoffaday Theaters. We could use the other one on Epow Road, but unfortunately doesn't look like that's happening, or I haven't heard much about where we are with that. But again, it's you go there, you get a nice rest. Well, the one at the Dignity Project, you get a continental breakfast too when you wake up, and then you have wraparound services. You have agencies that'll be there, nonprofit organizations that'll be there when they wake up to assist them with programs and services. To ultimately, the goal is to have them get off the street. So, again, it's good to see that they're very close to opening up this bed at night program there. And then again, I've been tracking the Anigua homeless shelter. And so they're very close. Apparently that project is completed, and now they're just waiting to pay their contractor. And once they pay their contractor for the renovations that were made to that apartment complex in Anigua, they'll be given the keys and they can open up because it is definitely needed. I do remember the National Guard was also doing work at that Anigua complex too. Okay, so the other bill that they had a public hearing on is actually more controversial. You wouldn't think that it'd be controversial, but it is when it's regarding signs. Bill 175. And so these are, I didn't realize this, but there was a roundtable meeting that happened on how to regulate digital signs years ago. This again is Vice Speaker Tony Atta, who is introducing the bill. And this basically ensures that current sign laws are not discriminating against other businesses because again, when you look at this bill, current sign laws favor some businesses but restrict others. Because of this, businesses often have to lobby the legislature or sue in court to put up signs, and they claim discrimination. And so Vice Speaker Tony Atta argues that this creates unfairness and unnecessary legal battles. And so within this bill, they're trying to allow you don't have to have the legislature decide whether you can set up your digital sign or not. It's going to allow, again, DPW to regulate. And so it says the bill doesn't give special treatment to any one business. Instead, it makes the law apply equally to all businesses. Joe Borja, the director of Department of Land Management, he talks about digital signs being allowed in commercial and hotel zones. Off-premises advertising is allowed. Businesses can advertise on signs not located on their own property. He gives an example of a hotel that can advertise on a digital billboard along Marine Corps Drive. And then it also would allow signs to be above the roof line with no height limit. Businesses could put signs on rooftops without restrictions. He has a neutral stance as the director, or even DLM, Department of Land Management, has a neutral stance. And they have no position for or against the bill. So there are some concerns about where you can put these signs. And so the bill mentions all over the island. And that's something that Senator Tello Taitagui is concerned about, and Senator Shelley Calvo is concerned about. And they bring up tourism. Why do people want to come to Guam? Do they want to come to see all of these digital fancy signs, or do they want to come here for the beauty and the fact that we are a tropical island? I don't know. That's a question, because I'll tell you, I do enjoy some of the spectacle of digital signs. You're going to go to Tokyo? Are you going to Tokyo, or are you going to somewhere else in Japan?
Yeah, I'm going to Tokyo, like the Shinjuku area.
Oh, yeah. There's plenty digital signs in Shinjuku.
Red light district. I'm like, yeah.
Shibuya, Shinjuku.
There's going to be so many.
Yeah.
I'm scared I'm going to get a stiff
There's
neck.
like so where that crossing.
The Shibuya crossing?
The Shibuya crossing,
Yeah.
right? I want to say that is the
biggest crossing?
Yeah.
I think so. You're right.
In the world.
It's like the busiest, because
Yes.
it's always busy, right?
There are digital signs all over the place, even some 3D.
Yeah.
Basically the way you're looking at the sign.
Yeah. I seen like a cat one.
Yes. And a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yes. I seen that.
So they're cool. I see the spectacle. I get the spectacle, but is that where we
For
want to
what?
go down into?
Sorry.
Do we want to see that down in
No.
Tumon? I don't know.
I don't go to Tumon to look at lights. I go to Tumon to go to the beach. Honestly.
Yeah.
Like, so sorry.
Right.
I don't think it's needed.
And that's where so it sounds like they're going to want to do a town hall, not a town hall, a round table meeting with all of the players before they move ahead with this Bill 175.
It's like, I already got to deal with
Right.
people and their bright lights on the road. Now I got to deal with this
That's
big
what
old
they
sign.
talk. They talk about that too, that
I
it
know.
can be distracting.
I honestly, Pauly, I think for me, I don't see the point, because we're not like a big city. We're not like a big
I'm okay with it
town.
as long as it's uniform.
Right? Okay. I mean, because we kind of do have digital signs already up, right? Well, at least the ones with all the advertising. So the one by the ITC intersection,
Yeah.
the one down in Tumon.
Yeah.
Those are pretty big too. What do you
Yeah.
think of those? You think they're pretty uniform, pretty all right?
I'm okay with that.
I see.
What is it? There's the one by Horse and Cow. It's huge.
Yeah, that one's a big one. Mm-hmm.
But I do see where some of the opponents will look at it and like, okay, so you have the one there. what's stopping me now from putting up another one right across the street?
Yeah.
And then another one, and then another one, and now you have like 7 digital screens
That
all
would
in
be
one
weird.
area.
Like, don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't think that it wouldn't look nice, honestly. I feel like for some reason I'm thinking of, I mean, I've only been to the States like twice, but for some reason when I'm thinking these big signs, I'm thinking of you being like on the road and it's like, you're about to approach this place. Next sign, don't go here. Next sign, you need to leave. Next sign, it's too late. You're here. I don't know why, but that's in my head. That's what I'm imagining. Not those words, but just that kind of sign.
Yeah. The argument is we're not Las Vegas. We're not Reno, right? And so there are these big digital signs and neon lights and whatnot. I mean, giant cowboys with the lit up and whatnot. And so I honestly don't even think that that's what is being discussed, but I get the discussion. And it definitely does need to, the round table meeting needs to happen with all of these business owners that own these digital signs, because somebody's mentioning that it's discriminatory. Somebody's saying, oh, we need to open it up because somebody else might have a hold on this industry, I guess. I don't know. But it can't get out of control. That there should be some regulation. That you should stick to modifications, so that it just doesn't look like. I think somebody mentioned this morning that in the past, where people were just taking advantage of like signs everywhere, and it wasn't uniform. And then they also bring up Times Square. I just don't think that we have the capacity. We're not. I agree with Senator Tello Taitagui when she says we're not Las Vegas, we're not Times Square, and we have to play to our strengths. But that's not to say that we can't have those discussions, right? So we'll see where that roundtable meeting goes. There's flooding in Tumon. Is that what we're saying? Yeah. Are they on the line? Okay. JC, you want to talk about the flooding in Tumon?
Yes. You know Berdiga, right?
Yes.
Owner.
Sandcastle,
I heard
yes.
of him. He knows somebody. He knows that guy that was a Fujita. Used to be Fujita Hotel.
Okay.
And that land was now just that place is now just a land area. And according to him, the owner of that land, is willing to just give it, donate his land or use his land, not donate, use his land for funding basing.
Oh, okay.
Because I noticed it rains a lot now. I don't know what's going on. It's been raining, and they're going the version of the flood from all the way to maybe duty free. Down to Fujita, the gravity.
So this
I
is.
heard him say the owner is willing to have his land used, but that's way back, man.
Is this the space that there's nothing on it right now in between?
You remember Pauly Fujita Hotel entrance?
I know where
right
Fujita.
It's clear, fence, fence around, like jingling fence. Remember that? No, the jingling fence.
So I know where Fujita Road
I
is.
haven't been there in a while, but
yeah.
I know it's still the same.
I know where Fujita Road is because that's where I get my ice cream.
Yeah.
So to the right of that is the Guam Police Department, right? GPD Sergeant Frankie Smith.
Across the police department.
So across from the police department is that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where they gated around.
Right.
And they're going to use the land, the owner of the land, willing to have his land used for funding basis to divert all the flood.
Okay.
To that area. And it's a good area for that flood to drain there. Right. That's good.
And so,
but I don't know what really happens here, but Diga, he knows about that land, and I guess he
maybe the government just needs to buy the land and then
the
construct
guy,
the ponding
the guy
basin.
is willing to have his land used, used for ponding basin. He's not selling it.
Wow.
He's not giving it away. Just to use it, just to help the business owner.
Oh, heck
The
yeah,
tumor.
man. We need to get that person on the line
the
now.
owner of that is Japanese.
Yesterday.
And, he's very, I don't know. I don't know how come hasn't happened yet, but
right.
If I see him, I'm going to ask him.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. It's too much light, but when it rains,
yeah,
you need the boots if you go walk.
Well, I was told that whole place was like marsh area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Pauly, another thing, the DOC, they need a national. This is just my opinion, huh?
Okay. Yeah,
I know your dad is fighting crimes too, right? Okay?
Yes.
He's very good because I haven't heard any crime in Tumon. He's doing a good job, and he looks good with his ranks. The highest rank in GPD. That's the sergeant too. Right. But actually, the rank now is sergeant major.
Okay. Wow.
But like I said, I haven't heard any crime in Tumon. Not even I haven't heard any. And
well, what was your suggestion of DOC? You had
Days of Blood, Major Days of Blood.
Yeah.
Those two are always together.
They are.
And they're pretty good in patrolling. That's what I call patrolling.
So you mentioned a solution for DOC?
The National Guard.
Okay.
This is my opinion to augment the manpower, the National Guard, to help the DOC because they're
right.
Those guards are burned out.
Right.
That's why they're having drugs coming in, this and that. I don't know how come it's all those, they got the SWAT thing, special operation response team, but that's not doing any good because the drugs still coming in. But they don't have enough people, personnel.
Right.
And they work so many hours, and of course they're going to get burned out because.
While we're at it, they should put some National Guard over at Customs also to help.
Everywhere. To me, everywhere.
Yeah. To help with inspections of
they have their posts, right now the police getting assist by all some law enforcement like customs, but it's no use. It's no use because if customs assist in patrol, then the drugs coming in and the airport.
Or the National Guard could be patrolling with the GPD.
Oh yeah, they're patrolling the whole island.
Yeah.
It'd be nice because I don't see police.
I mean, they're doing it in D.C., right? And people like that
idea. Yeah, that's right. He took over. He took over because they see D.C.
No one's upset about that. I mean, everybody's very happy.
No, he said he's a crime fighter.
Well, I mean, he changed it to Department of War because we have to, keep our streets safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I guess the governor back there, they're not doing the job. I don't care whether you're Republican
all the
or
governors,
Democrat.
especially Gavin Newsom's, like, come help me.
Because he's a Democrat. I don't know what's going on with the conflict. If you're a Democrat, then Trump will come in and
right.
take over.
There you go.
Every governor in the 50 states.
Yep, they're incompetent.
I haven't heard Hawaii yet.
All incompetent Democrat governors, and so President Trump is here to...
I don't know, Trump is anti-Democrat. I know that for sure.
He's anti-woke.
Anti-Democrat.
Everybody go to sleep. Nobody can be woke anymore.
I don't know. Trump is just... he said, he called as governor of California. I don't know, man. That's nasty things about that guy. He payback. Now he called that payback.
Right. Yeah.
He's trying to put him in jail now. Right. Now it's his turn trying to put all those people that trying to.
Hey, it's all a Democrat hoax. It's all a hoax. The Epstein Democrat hoax.
Then get it.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'm just talking about the state. Huh?
Right.
I'm not talking about Guam. Okay, this is state. Right. So, hey, thanks, Pauly.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is just my opinion. Huh?
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you
I'm not
voicing your
trying to be like governor telling what to do. This is my opinion.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And
Okay.
you know, your dad is a manako, but he's a good police officer. He is a good policeman.
Oh, yeah. I love it when I
The way
go to
he
the
takes
restaurant with him.
good care of himself.
Yes, he does.
You know, you might be 60 or close to 70, but
Yeah.
he looks like you don't look that age. You know? He looks good.
Right.
Because he's always taking care of himself. That's the way you're supposed to do, you know.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, Pauly, for
Okay,
allowing
thank you.
For allowing this manako to talk on the radio.
Thank you.
The manako likes you, man. Really? Okay, take care. Huh?
Biba.
Okay.
Okay, senor.
Okay.
Senor Kaduku is on the line. Hafade, senor. You there?
Please, senor, if you can just lower down your radio.
Okay.
Hey!
Anyway, Pauly,
What's up, brother?
This is another senior citizen on steroids.
There you go. What's up? What's up?
Hey, man. Anyway, you know who we need up there at DOC?
Who do we need?
We need Uncle Jim.
Jim Miles, yes.
Uncle Jim will straighten it out, if you know what I mean. Anyway, you know what? We need some of those neon lights that they're talking about.
Okay.
Put them up where I'm at, because at 8 o'clock I'm scared to walk onto the street. There's no lights up here, Pauly.
Yeah, maybe the digital screens will add lights to the streets, right?
Hey, it might even attract attraction.
There you go.
Open up some karaoke joints up there, and you know whatever else.
There are no bad
something
ideas.
Something to the environment.
Right.
And probably people are just starting to dump their junk cars on the side of the street. No one's doing anything about it.
Right.
If you take these back streets and these back roads up here in this area in Jigo and Dedado, people, I don't know how they get it there, but they just dump it up to the side and leave it there.
Yeah.
You know how many junk cars I've counted already, Pauly? And it's just not the guys out there stripping these cars. It's the women too, Pauly. They're out there stripping cars just like the rest of the guys are doing it. And people are dumping it right on the side of the street there. And I don't see anything or anybody do anything about it. Probably some of them are just stolen. They stick it to the side of the road and strip it right there and leave it there, and it stays there. So that's what's going on in our schools, our roads. Pauly, have you seen the street sweeper out there?
You know, actually, I saw it, but it was in Tidzin. It was on the airport side where we're not allowed to drive. I saw a street sweeper on the airport property.
What
maybe
happened?
2 weeks ago. But I haven't seen it on Marine Corps, that's for sure.
You see how they build our streets, make it look nice, make it all nice, pavement and everything. Put in all what they need to put in, and cruise down Dedado right there on the run, mobile. Look at the islands, the mediums there. You can, when you look down, it looks like something like some kind of bite you. The cars go left or right, or go straight, or go whatever. All the debris, like the little pebbles and the glass and everything, it's all right there in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
No one does anything to clean that up, Pauly, and it just starts looking like it used to before. And that's why I'm saying, where's the street sweeper? I know they spend $1.2 million and they never came here to Guam. Something's not right, man. And the streets that were built to make it look nice, it's deteriorating, it's falling at the seams. There's no preventive maintenance. No one's going out there to sweep up those mediums or take those cigarette butts or those, you name it, Pauly, broken glass, pebbles. They're stacking up against the medium and right there in the center lane. You see anybody going out there sweeping in the morning or at night or when there's not that many traffic? It's called preventive maintenance, man. And you put a lot of money into those roads, Pauly. And for what? Just to let it deteriorate? There should be a life expectancy when they put in a new road. This means it's not even going to reach there, or not even close to it. But yeah, put a red light, neon lights up there. That place where they're going to house the homeless. That's right across AK on the other side of the street, up against the cliffside back there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about 9 floors, 7 floors.
I'm not sure. I've never seen it.
And there's 2 different sections. It even got a pool.
Okay.
That was my first job, Pauly. That was the first apartment complex that was built on this island.
I did not know
Went
that.
back there in the back, and there's 3 different units, A, B, and C.
Mhm.
I think I'll go apply for one of those units, Pauly.
There you go.
And you know what happened today after I finished talking to you earlier?
What happened?
I decided to fix my bed because it's falling apart. And right when I was about to sew up some sections, guess what falls down on top of my head?
The ceiling? The concrete?
No.
Oh, what?
A baby lita.
Hey, that's good luck.
I know, but I almost died, man. I wasn't. I was expecting him to fall down maybe at night or late in the morning, but at that time.
Wow.
So he looks like he's only like 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
So I just, moseyed him out the door, and I said, whoa, I think I would have had a heart attack if he fell on top of me while I was sleeping. But,
right?
hey, man, I like the jungle and I like the ranch and everything, but sometimes I like the country police, where you get to hide every day and every morning, every night. That'd be nice, but I can't afford it, man. I can't afford it. I live up, if you believe what I live up, you're going to say, how do you do it? I don't know. But I'm starting to switch to bread and butter and jam and cookies and I had pocky for dinner with bread. It's hard, Pauly. It's hard, but I'm trying to make it to where I can live a couple more years and see what really happens on this island because I don't think it's going to be too pretty while the hospitals are falling apart, the streets are falling apart, people are falling apart, people are junking their junk on the side of the road. Where do we stop and start living a better life for everybody, even the poor people, even the people out there in the sticks? Just,
right.
Just to have a smile on their face and kids get to shower in nice clean water and anyway, Pauly, hey, man, it means waste up your time, but you have a nice evening.
You too.
And,
you too. Okay. Senor Kaduku, you have a great one. Take care. Adios. You want me to take this, or do we have to take the break? Because we haven't taken a break yet, right?
Well, we did.
We're good?
Actually, no, you're right,
Yeah,
Pauly.
we just flew by this 5 o'clock hour.
Well, let me just take care of the traffic then real quick.
And
Miss
then,
Magoday, you're on the line.
Yeah.
Just hang tight, okay? Don't hang up on us.
There you go.
Thanks so much, Pauly. We're coming back to the bright side, I promise you. But, of course, we got to take our last look at real deal traffic. Good thing Pauly pointed it out because I would have just been like, okay, cool, we're good. Let's go ahead and get into that real quick. Big shout out to our friends over there at Guam Auto Spot. Visit them online at guamautospot.com today and schedule your test drive. Get in your new vehicle. We also want to thank our friends at Moboyo Guam. Energy lives here. Be sure you check them out. Download that app today so you can start receiving rewards. A big shout out once again going out to our friends over there at Moboyo Guam. Energy lives here. Alrighty, friends. Well, traffic is definitely trafficking for all your main intersections. I'm talking about here in Tamuning where the ITC area is, in Hagåtña, as well as the Barragata Tri-intersection. I don't see too much traffic here. Oh, I lied. Never mind. I just took a better look. There is more traffic building up there at the intersection where Chalumpago and Mangilao meet, especially for those that are trying to get out of Mangilao and make your way on to Route 4, whichever way you're headed, either Pago Bay or into Salampago. Now, traffic at the Barragata Tri-intersection is a little bit busy for those who are coming from Barragata headed towards that way. There's a lot of traffic heading northbound on Route 1 for anyone who is headed towards Dedido. Can I just say that? If you're coming from Hagåtña, if you're coming from Tamuning, Tumon, Upper Tumon, you can definitely expect heavy traffic there that leads all the way to the mall intersection off of North Marine Corps Drive. So just be on the lookout for that, friends. That's probably the heaviest traffic we got right now. And then for anyone... Oh, never mind. That's gone. All right. It looks like we're A-okay down south. Maybe some traffic here in Hogad, but it doesn't look super bad. We're talking about the intersection where you can either go to Santa Rita, Sumay, or maybe just head into Hogad. Either way, drive safely and slowly, Guahan, as you make your way through the roadways. And again, continue to keep it locked here at your Real Deal Traffic Report, being brought to you by our friends over there at Guam Auto Spot and our friends over there at Moboyo Guam, energy lives here.
The new and improved Chili's 3 for Me deal is here. Starting at $12.99, get a drink, an appetizer, and an entree. You heard right. You can get a Coke, chips and salsa, and an old timer with cheese for only $12.99. Only at Chili's. Great food and value happen here.
Pat's Tinting and Detailing offers premier services from complete interior cleaning and VIP detailing. And to keep you cool, Pat's also offers factory, ceramic, blacked out, and base-approved auto tinting. For more information, call 647-SLAM.
Mark your calendars, Guam. Red Ball 2025 is approaching, and with it comes an evening of elegance, purpose, and community. This celebrated event unites our island in support of a meaningful cause, honoring the spirit of giving through style, compassion, and connection.
The American Red Cross helped me begin my process of recovery and building in a very unexpected way. I started volunteering with the Guam chapter in July of 2024, drawn to help with Operation Never Forgotten, which revitalizes the Guam Veteran Cemetery, ensuring that the final resting place of our fallen service members and their families is treated with dignity and care. Standing side by side with fellow volunteers, I felt a deep sense of meaning, especially as I reflected that someday my own parents would rest there. The Red Cross gave me more than a place to serve. It gave me a place to grieve, to honor, and to heal. Through their mission, I found purpose in pain and hope in loss. For that, I will always be grateful. The Red Cross is always there for our military, our veterans, and our community. Your generosity makes the Red Cross mission possible. Because of you, we bring comfort and care to our military service members, veterans, and families, while standing ready for our island community in times of need. With every contribution, you help the Red Cross turn compassion into action, bringing hope to those who serve and to the communities we call home.
Time is running out to join us for the first ever Run for Wishes. It's all going down Saturday, September 13th at the Leo Palace Resort. There's still a chance to register or volunteer and be a part of something truly special. Every step, every smile helps bring hope and makes dreams come true for children in Guam and the CNMI. Don't miss this moment. Make a weekend out of it by booking our Run Weekend Stay Special. Visit Leo Palace's Facebook and Instagram today for more information. And we'll see you at the Run for Wishes at the Leo Palace Resort.
The views and opinions expressed in this show are that of the show hosts, guests, and callers. They do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the staff and management of Wave 105 FM, Glimpses Media, or any of our partners. As we strive to provide quality, respectful, and engaging content, we welcome you to participate in the conversation. Thank you for tuning in to Wave 105 FM, the sound of Guam. Enjoy the show.
All right. 5:57 in the afternoon. Is Miss Mogodai still on the line? Hafa Sina.
Yes, sir.
Hafa
Pauly, how are you?
I'm well. You got the last 2 minutes of the show.
Okay, I'll just make it fast.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm glad that they did have something for the homeless because, looking at them out there walking without any shelter, especially when it's raining, right?
Right.
But, because of all those places that they were found to be staying on, how are they funded for that?
How are they funded for?
Like who's paying the rent or whatever? Is that under our government or?
I don't think so. Well, right now, the homeless shelters now?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. That's through grants. I believe they've used federal grant monies. I have to double check. But, yeah, it's,
okay.
I mean, like the opioid, the Attorney General wanted to use the opioid funds, what we got from the lawsuit. He wanted to use those monies to open up that bed at night. But, I don't think that it's coming from the general fund. I'll have to double check, but I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the only reason why I'm asking is because, if they have that kind of a hotel for them to stay, are they going to have a shelter also for the, when, officials, like counseling or rehabilitation people that are going to be there just to assist them to see what they are really into their situation. In that way, when they come in and check in and all that, at least they're safe or, what is their issues, like what the problem is coming from them. And then, that would be a good program for them too.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. I think that's what they're going to do on the
morning. Pauly, I was just going to ask Mr. Esteves, because, even though you own a firm, like Gura Housing, for example, too. And so many years ago, I've been applying for this elderly person that lives there in Gura Housing. And, I went to check the rehab program and all that, but they said they didn't have the funds yet. Now, this person that owns this place didn't sell his own house, but her house is already paid off, but I need to find out how is the Gura housing property that sits on that house where she pays the house in full already. It's already paid off. And because when I went and checked, they said that she has to pay $2,400 for the land. So I need to check on that.
Is that Gura or Habitat for Humanity?
Rehab.
Is that Gura or Habitat for Humanity?
I'm not sure, and that's why I need to know, because in that way I can work on it and help this lady, because all her cabinets, her bathroom are deteriorated already, falling apart, and her doors front and back are not accessible because at any time when there's a big typhoon or anyone can break in, and do anything to harm the lady. And as long as you still own the house under her name, and I just want to be on her, to be safe on her side. And Gura said that she has to pay $2,400 for the land because she already paid off her house for 30 years.
I'll reach out to Gura, and I'm not familiar with that program, but I'll reach out to Gura and see any updates, and so I can better understand this program because I'm not tracking.
Can you please? Because I don't know where to go, and I know there's one in the airport or terminal, whatever, up there for that program, federal program, or I don't even know what they call it.
Okay.
But then I went to Guru and that I was told.
Okay.
And I need to find out where else I can help this person, apply to that program. And she's already old age.
Right.
It's just that, at any time they're eligible for that program.
Understood.
So
Sina,
please help me out for that. And also I'm glad that they did have shelter for the homeless. And I hope they do have someone to take care of their program, what their needs are, talk about what they are going through, just like counseling and rehabilitation for them to become better.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the phone call. I'll do some. I'll make some phone calls myself. Take care. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Pauly.
Adios. 6:02 in the evening. We made it. The 4 hours just flew by. It's like we don't even want to leave now.
It did. No, Pauly, I'm hungry. Please, Pauly,
we're
don't send me,
gonna get out of here, especially because Reese is just a superhero, right? Been here since 5 in the morning. So there you go. We're gonna get out of here. Everybody, be safe out on those roads. Be kind to each other, especially out on those roads. We'll do it all again tomorrow, starting with the Mornings with Patty, rolling with Dice. Patty Arroyo is back in the chair from 6 to 10. It's Tuesday, so you got Cop Talk and then Community Talks with Guam Community College fam. All right here on Talk of Guam. We're KGUM FM in Dededo, Guam. Adios.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto.